Okay, wait, I unmuted the wrong thing. I unmuted the wrong thing. My B. Hello. Welcome in, Flowey. How are you doing this morning? How is it going? Okay. Is that you questioning me saying Chronotopia Second Skin on Steam, which you should check out right now? Is that what you're saying okay to? Um, do. Let me make sure just everything is up and running smoothly. Good. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. You've been up to anything fun this weekend? Um, just being forced to watch ads. Oh no, wait, the ads are still going? They shouldn't still be going. Hang on. Why is my stuff not again? Again, like they ended and then started again? That actually happened while I was watching the big live stream for the festival on Friday. Of like I got the ad started. I didn't get hit with any of them, and then as soon as like the trailers actually like got started, I got hit with ads, and then I got hit with ads as soon as that trailer ended. It was like, what the freak? What do you mean? What do you mean? Despite me already watching them, yeah, exactly. Like it was such a weird thing that happened. Also, yeah, no, for some reason my stuff isn't like full screening, but that's okay. Let's just go ahead and get the mute. Oh, this is so loud. Hang on, I want to turn that stuff down. There we go. Perfect. But yes, welcome in. But yeah, have you been up to anything fun this weekend? Yesterday after stream, I went to a concert, and it was a really fun time. It was an incredible concert. I'm not gonna say by who, because again, I don't want to worry about like people, because I probably worry too much about it, but I really don't want to worry about like people like looking into it, that kind of thing, and like finding out where I am based on the concert that I went to yesterday, that kind of thing. But it was so much fun. Like genuinely, the only issue I had was like everyone was there was like smoking and stuff like that. Which I don't mind if you do. It's just like it got to the point of like I started feeling a little like tipsy from just being around it all, that kind of thing. But outside of like that like little thing, it was so much freaking fun. It was the most fun I've had at a concert, like, period. Granted, I've also only been to like 3? I think I've only been to like 3 concerts. The first concert I ever went to was a Selena Gomez concert when I was like really young. Yo, what is up, social? How is it going? How's your weekend been? How's it hanging? Did you get a lot of work done yesterday? But yeah. Smoking is cringe in my opinion. I think it kind of depends. Like, I think if you're just like smoking like just straight up like cigarettes, like that's just like so, it's very not good for you. But like, if you like smoke other stuff, like I don't really care that much. It's just it's one of those things of like it just like don't do it around other people who don't smoke is kind of my opinion, because they also don't want to breathe in like the fumes. Essentially, it's sort of like it's your life. You can do what you want with it. Just don't like do that kind of stuff to other people. So, who's Selena Gomez? Just the star of Wizards of Waverly Place. How dare you? How dare you? A scene from Wizards actually popped up on my timeline, like last week or something, and it like re-traumatized me, because there's a scene in like the first Wizards movie where it's like this huge emotional scene of like everyone in the family, like all the wizards are like losing their memories and everything, and it's just Alex, the girl that Selena Gomez plays, just like begging for help, and like her family being like, but I don't like remember you, I don't know who you are, I don't know how to help you. And it like, as a kid, that was like the most traumatizing scene ever, like emotionally. Like there were other things like Courage the Cowardly Dog that were like scary, but like emotionally that scene was so like devastating for me. It was not fun. It was not fun, and I had to relive that trauma. I give, and I'm going to be getting more grading done, so I'll be lurking. All right. I have a good one doing that. Lurkers are always welcome. I hope work goes good for you. But yeah, no, so it was not a fun time. But outside of that, what was the other concert I've been to? I'm not gonna lie, I don't really remember the other concert I've been to, because I really didn't care that much for the band. I only really went because it's like my mom really wanted to go. Oh, what were they called? Oh, I feel like such a bad son for not remembering, though. So I kind of went with her just to like, do something with my mom, because she like really wanted to do it. And she like loves these bands. Like she was like, outside of I think she was like, these are like my like this was my like second favorite band ever, and I'm completely doing it Wait. Give equals did. Oh, give equals did. What the fuck? Hey, listen. We can just both say that was autocorrect, you know, and like give none of the blame to you. You know what I mean? Because to be fair, autocorrect does just be getting like worse and worse over time. So like even if you're like typing on like a desktop or something, we can just blame it. We can just blame it. Okay, okay. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of assumed that give equal did, but I was like, I'm gonna read out your message word for word because you know I don't want to make any assumptions here. That's not good. Also, where? Hang on, I need to pull the YouTube chat back up. There we go. Stream elements. What the fuck? I've never once gotten a stream elements chat in the YouTube side. Learn how to customize the bot here. I have a bot? Is this real? Wait, channel activity? Oh my gosh, wait, this is real. I didn't know YouTube had a bot. What the freak? There's things I could have been doing with this instead of just neglecting YouTube. Let me check this out really quick. What the freak? I had no idea. God, I'm such a good streamer. I'm so good at this. Serial and chatbot usage getting started. Counters, commands, spam filters, modules. To be fair, we really don't need to worry about spam filters over there. Because, like, YouTube is so clean. Despite the fact that it is the one that I neglect and everything, it's so clean. You never have to worry about, like, other, like, the, you know, like, the sex bots or, like, the ad bots or anything over there. It's just like, all people. At least for, like, my experience. Like, I've never had to, like, deal with any of that kind of stuff. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. There's so freaking much here. Okay, I'm going to look into that. Also, I've been wanting to look into, like, a new bot for the Twitch side. Because as much as I do like MooBot, like, it's a very simple, very clean thing to use. It's just very... the cleanness of it comes with limitations. And I think it's more worthwhile to figure out how to deal with, like, slightly more complicated bots to get more out of it. So, yes. But I think with that being said... we do have a little bit to talk about in terms of the game before jumping into it. So I think we're going to go ahead and do that. Just because we do... I want to play the game for like a few hours. Because I do have other stuff. Because like every single day, I do got other stuff going on today. I have family coming over to help me paint my house. And I want to actually be like ready and available by the time they get here. Which is like... I'm not saying that's because I'm going to rush into it. Like, we have plenty of time. We have so much time. I just want to make sure we actually, like, get into the game and get a very good look at it before I need to go, essentially. So then it doesn't feel like we're rushing at all. So that's the plan. That's the plan. Very weird that Stream Elements just reached out randomly right now when it did. But first, before we jump on into the actual game, we got to talk about... we have a quick little blurb to go over about the game. And I also want to talk about, like, the developmental studio and, like, everything like that. So the game we're going to be playing today is Chronotopia Second Skin. And for some reason, every single time I was typing out the title for this game, and like, you know, like all the tweets and like all the actual titles of the streams and everything, I kept wanting to say like Chronoplastia, and I don't even know if that's like a real word. It's just what I wanted to keep typing out, and I have no idea why. And I'm also going to struggle with this because it's a German pronunciation for the studio. Chronotopia Second Skin is developed by... okay, good luck. Tremendous Mädchen is, I think, how you say that, I believe. An indie developer of narrative games with unusual stories. Despite the name, they're actually a French visual novel studio. And to give a quick little blurb about the game, Chronotopia is the story of... hang on. It is about a fairy tale princess who dies. She gets better. Love in the bargain. That's such a weird little thing, but it'll make sense. It'll make sense. The plan was supposed to be simple, almost ridiculously so. When her father, driven mad by years of grief, suddenly decided to force her into marrying him. When her father, driven mad by years of grief, suddenly decided to force her into marrying him, Princess Kiona enlisted the help of her childhood friend. Together they managed to contact her long-lost fairy godmother. Surely her power would save her from this hellish fate. Kiona would be able to escape the castle, a Prince Charming would find her, and they would live happily ever after. Alas, magic can only do so much. Things keep spinning out of control. Trapped in an endless nightmare, the princess ceaselessly rewinds time in a race with death itself. Is a happy ending truly waiting for her at the end of the tunnel? And let me just say, when I read that first line for the first time, like when I was like looking into the game after they had reached out to me and saw the her father forced her into marrying him, it was like the biggest like, huh? What do you mean? What are we talking about here? But I kind of dig it, the fact that it's just so creepy and so awful that it's like, yeah, no, I'm instantly on board with Kiona's like need and want to get out of this terrible situation right now. So I'm like, you know what? Banger opening. Banger way to start off the description, because that instantly got me so invested into like getting her out of the situation. So it is incredible. And another thing really, really quick is that if you like what you see here and you want to check out Chronotopia's second skin, it is actually on sale for today. For the next 23 hours, actually. It is on a 30% sale right now. So yeah, again, if you like what you see here and you want to check it out, now is a great time to do it. Let me just go ahead and close down out of that. And then another thing that I do need to mention is hang on, how do you say the name? Madchen. I'll just call them TM. I'll call him TM. TM did reach out to me with a Steam key. So I do think that that's always like, whenever a company does that, I'm going to always specify like, yes, I did get this for free, the game that we're playing. Just because I feel like that, you know, just full transparency, essentially. I do think it's important to do that. So yes, they did reach out to me with a Steam key when they asked me to play this, and I gladly accepted. Which, again, thank you so much to TM for doing that. It is such an honor that you did that and considered me to show off your game. Because, I don't know, it's just something that people put so much time into, so whenever anyone does that, it's just such an honor. So thank you so much. And I did think, because the whole point of like this event is like, it's just kind of like a quick like showcase of things, like, you know, playing like demos or taking a quick peek at everything. And so for today, we're just gonna I considered playing the demo instead of playing the full game. But then I was like, when I was getting everything ready, I was like, I could just start the full game and then play, for like about an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that, to like basically where I feel like there's a really good stopping point. And then we'll just, that's where we'll stop for right now, because I do plan to come back and play this full game, probably just in like a couple of weeks. I don't know if I'm going to be doing that much in October, just because not only is it spoopy month, so I want to focus mostly on spoopy games, but also Lock and Key is coming out in just a few days here, just in 2 days, So I want to make sure I can give that game my attention as well. But yeah, so basically like probably like somewhere like early November, something like that, we're going to be getting started with playing the rest of Chronotopia. So that's kind of why I figured, like, even if we start now, it's not like the rest of the game would be that far off, because that was also another one of the reasons I was like, oh, we could start with the demo, is because like, oh, I'm not going to be able to coming back to the game for a little bit. But then when I actually planned out when I'd be coming back to the game, I was like, it's not that far off, actually. We're fine to stop, like, to start the game. So that's kind of what I figured I would do. And I'm very excited to get into it. So let's go ahead and I'm going to turn off the music really quick. Let's go ahead and do that. And then let's move on over to the game. And I'm actually going to close out of the game, because the game has a very cool, like, logo sequence that I want everyone to see. Boop, boop. Let me go ahead and get that stuff booted back up. Do. There it is. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. No, YouTube, stop trying to full screen. You don't deserve the full attention to my screen. There we go. And then there we go. Oh no, my computer's too slow. It didn't have it. You know what? Whatever. It's fine. My computer's too weak. It just couldn't get the game loaded up fast enough to see the intro sequence that well. But it's fine. It's very pretty. Trust me. Trust me. And then yes, there is a content. If you couldn't tell from like the description, the quick blurb of the actual story, there is obviously like a content warning involved. So I will go ahead and read that out for everyone, just so that everyone is aware of it. Chronotopia explores a lot of heavy themes such as the threat of incest, suicidal tendencies, brutal deaths including the use of torture, the loss of children, illness, as well as physical and emotional abuse. As such, its contents is not suitable for children. If this proves too much to handle, please take a break and take care of yourself. Chronotopia also contains implied consensual sexual relationships between adults and infrequent censored nudity. Brief sensual scenes, neither genitalia nor nipples are visible, are accessible through the choices marked with a little heart. Feel free to avoid these if this type of content makes you uncomfortable. Ooh. Oh, it's so haunting. Hang on, I want to take a little peek at the extra stuff, just to take a little look at it. Also, I think the game might be a little loud, so I'm just gonna go ahead and turn it down a little bit. It kind of looks like it's a little loud for me, so it's probably a little loud for y'all, because that's kind of how I gauge it. Let's go ahead and set it to about there. That looks good. That looks good. Okay, let's go ahead and do we have? I doubt we have anything in any of these, but it's worth like checking out at least, because I don't know. I always like looking around in the menus before we actually like jump into things. No, okay, we have nothing there. The archives, yeah. Gosh, this, especially like this stuff, it really does feel like you just like opened up like a little fairy tale like picture book kind of thing, and then you come back to the main sequence. Is like, oh right, this game's gonna be like scary and kind of horrifying and dark. Oh, I'm so excited to get into it. So let's just start. How did it all begin? Before my eyes was the most beautiful landscape one could imagine. A vast blue sky as far as the eye can see, a bright sky speckled with thin clouds. I could never have dreamed of a better place to honor my last moments. In fact, it is almost a waste. The light is too dazzling, too powerful. I'm falling apart on the spot. Thin strands of hair periodically obscure my eyes. My own weight takes me down in an endless free fall, lower and lower still. Yes, I am drowning in this gaseous immensity. Little by little, my thoughts turn into a confused jumble. My whole being becomes numb. I am blown away by the wind like wisp. I am blown away by the wind like a wisp of straw, swept far away according to its whim. The very contours of my being fade away. My memories, my essence disappear. To tell the truth, as my body approaches the ground, as the impact becomes imminent, nothing matters anymore. I'd like to say that I am scared, but I do not feel anything anymore. All I know is that I do not deserve what is up above, that I do not deserve to fly. While my corporeal envelope, oh my gosh, I'm struggling so hard to read today. While my corporeal envelope shatters into pieces, my mind keeps moving. Particles float around my stiff and lifeless body. Everything becomes dark, silent. I do not know where I am going, but I know that this is where I belong. There lies my punishment. I return to original darkness. Also, in real life, as soon as I said that, how can I be forgiven? As soon as I said that line, like a siren started going off like right behind my house, and that like scared me. I thought that was like part of the game. Also, ew. Hang on, how did I do that thing? Oh wait, there we go. Wait, how do I do it? Oh, hang on. Let me just get rid of this. Flash ban. There we go. Let's just go ahead and get rid of that. Just had to kill a guy real quick. You know how it is. A rustle interrupted my slumber. My eyes opened by themselves, almost against my will, to reveal a blurry and gray world. Confused, I tried to move, but my body had suddenly become so heavy that it would not respond. After long minutes spent struggling against myself, I finally managed to twitch my fingertips, yet something was still holding me back. All of a sudden, I realized that I was not lying in my bed. Just awakening from a long and pleasant night, I opened my eyes. I was standing, held against a wall by climbing plants tied to my limbs. A flexible botanical wall surrounded me wholly, in some sort of protective and comfortable cocoon. Slightly pulling on the plants made them collapse, and allowed me to entirely release myself. I could not stay here. I had to leave. Oh. Oh, this place is creepy. I love it. Freaking, not me be like, these like so look like spider eggs, you know, like the when you see like the big old webs, like, and the big old clump wrapped up in it. It kind of like, I don't like it. I don't like it. That's what always, like, whenever I see like a thick clump of like spider webs in my house, and like I go to take them down, I'm always like a little hesitant of like, what if I like grab that with this napkin and I actually like crunch a spider egg? Like, ugh. Determined, I pierced the membrane with my own hands and stepped into the unknown. I found myself in a gigantic temple, plunged in half light. Also, it's like, so like this is a whole thing, like Chronotopia obviously makes me think of like, you know, time stuff, and like that's kind of what gets talked about and like hinted at in like the blurb that we read as we go back. So the fact that there's like so many of these kind of like, I don't know, makes me think that there's going to be a lot of other people who are going through something similar to us. Like this isn't going to be like just an us exclusive thing. Granted, well, but also because like the fairy godmother, I assumed would like be the one to like help us go back in time to do the things. So maybe not. Maybe this is something like unrelated to that. I don't know. Pale lunar rays passed through from above the vault, which allowed my eyes to get used to the darkness and finally see what the night was hiding within. There were dozens and dozens of cocoons similar to mine, aligned all around me. I moved toward the nearest one and glanced through the gleaming translucent membrane. There was someone inside, a sleeping human being. This discovery deeply disturbed me. I wonder if these are all going to be like different princesses, because again, this is giving off like a very, very like heavy fairy tale inspired kind of vibe. I wonder if these are all going to be like other like princesses like stuck in their own like terrible twisted fates. Are you going to play Slay the Princess during Halloween? I have thought about playing Slay the Princess. Is Slay the Princess like a horror game? I genuinely like know nothing about it, because I heard about it a little bit like way long ago, and then I went, oh, this is something I'm definitely gonna play someday. So I haven't looked more into it since then. Is it like a spooky game? Because if it is a spooky game, I definitely might move that to October. It's a horror visual novel, but it's also a love story. Oh my gosh, wait, that's perfect. Oh my gosh, I'm so here for that. That matches the channel so well. The only things we do here are play love stories and horror games. So you're just mixing the two together. So yeah, I am very down to play that. Let me just, hang on. I'm gonna do a quick little cursory. How long to beat Slay the Princess? I'm only doing this because I want to make sure it's like stuff that we can like, you know, actually play and finish in October. Okay, yeah. Only about 3 hours. Okay, that's not bad at all, actually. But it's 17 hours to get all of the aspects of it. So like, yeah, obviously there's like a lot of branching paths. So like, we can definitely, yeah, we'll definitely play that. At least try to. Because I have a lot of games that I want to get through in October. We're starting Silent Hill F on the 2nd of October. And then I also want to beat Secrets of the Mimic and Little Nightmares 2. And I had one other game lined up that I wanted to play, but I don't remember. But I also obviously want to play a visual novel. So I was kind of bouncing around a couple of ideas for what visual novels to play. So I might just do that one because I hadn't really decided on anything. So yeah, thank you for that recommendation. Because again, I want to play that for a long time. I just haven't. Despite my dry mouth and hazy mind, it seemed clear to me those poor souls were being held captive against their will. I absolutely had to free them. As I was about to tear the lianas imprisoning the stranger's cocoon, I heard a bell tinkling behind me. I turned around. A strange figure was standing a few meters from me. A man or a woman, dressed in a long robe akin to a monk's, leaning on a cane, with her eyes fully covered by a black blindfold. Ooh. The Graveyard of Discarded Dreams. Who are you? What is this place? Instead of answering, the apparition simply beckoned me to come closer. I had a moment of hesitation. After all, I did not know this person. There was no guarantee I could trust them. But it was also the human being able to provide... But it was also the only human being able to provide me with the reason of my presence in this enigmatic place. Could I even hope to understand without their help? As I was remaining motionless and mistrustful, my interlocutor... Oh my gosh, wait. My interlocutor reached for me. I sighed. In the end, this blind person appeared quite harmless. Had they wanted to coerce me, they would have probably tried to do so earlier. Suspicious yet determined, I responded in kind and grabbed their hand. Then they quietly took me through the temple. To my greatest surprise, there were many other rooms like this one I had awakened in, all filled with cocoons. This strange and dreamlike sight sparked my curiosity just as much as it confused me. Where are we exactly? Why are there plants everywhere? Why do people sleep in cocoons? But my companion remained silent the whole way and simply led me to the exit to my annoyance. At least tell me your name. Finally, I arrived outside. Before me, a desert scattered with ruins stretched out to the horizon. Destroyed buildings were engulfed by luxurious plants, yet the atmosphere was dry. Gusts of wind regularly created whirlwinds of dust from the muddy ground. In the firmament, a giant moon seemed to watch over this mysterious landscape. I felt strangely anxious, as if I had returned to a familiar place, a place lurking deep within my heart that I would have preferred to forget. My temporary guide brought me to out of my torpor. Gosh, this is using such fancy words. By letting go of my hand and respectfully bowing down before me. Aw. So nice, so respectful. Wait! Before I even had a chance to hold them back, they vanished into the depths of the temple again. At the same time, a group of young women came out of one of the buildings. They noticed me and readily rushed towards me, laughing. That's not a good sign. I feel like that's such an ominous sign. If you get let out of a mysterious temple and people start running at you while laughing, it's like just run. Just run away. Oh, you just woke up. You must be a new shadow. What? Oh. Is that why you guys are all just silhouettes? We're all shadows here or something? What's your dream? What's your dream? Tell us. Come on, don't pressure him. The poor soul... Oh. I thought that... The poor soul must be utterly lost. But it's the first time I met someone who has just been born. I'm intrigued. I want to know what he saw. I do not understand what you're talking about. Where are we? What exactly is this place? Why are there people sleeping in there? Don't worry, we're going to explain everything. But first you must tell us your dream. Was it only a dream? I don't know anymore. I was cradled by plants and it was dark. I had to pierce the membrane. But what happened before that? Before that? I think I was in the sky. A deep azure sky. But that is the only thing I remember. Well, that's not very precise. If a newborn claims he doesn't remember his dream, he is most likely a wavering shadow. We must take him to Lys as soon as possible. You're right. His time is limited. He needs to find his dream quickly. Lys? Limited time? What is the meaning of this? What is going to happen to me? That's simple. We're going to take you to the wise woman of the village. She's the most knowledgeable person around. She'll know how to help you. Absolutely, and she'll explain the whole thing far better than us. It was anarchy in my head. I absolutely did not understand what was going on. None of the human beings I had crossed paths with thus far appeared hostile, but nothing made any sense. I half-heartedly let myself be guided through the ruins by my new friends. We met other people on the way, men and women of all ages, dressed with loose and relatively warm clothes, probably to protect themselves from the wind and aridity. Some of them were talking aloud on a threshold. Others were building some terracotta huts, and some were pulling carts laden with tools. One could have thought it was an ordinary village, if not for this peculiar and unspeakable feeling, as if these people did not really exist, as if this hamlet was in fact inhabited by shadows. Finally, the young one stopped before Bivouac? What is that? Hang on. Research, R&D. Bivouac. I don't know if this is... it's showing me a couple of different things. It's showing me, like, people, like, hanging from mountains, like, when they go, like, mountaineering and stuff and need to, like, sleep for the night. Also, that's, like, the most terrifying thing. The idea... I don't think I would ever be able to sleep while being suspended by, like, a cliffside or something like that. That'd be awful. But then other things, it's just kind of, like, pulling up, like, smaller, like, little, like, tent-like structure. So I think that might be more accurate to what it is. A small group was gathered around the fire. Step aside. It's important we have to see Lys right now. It's true. We may have found a wavering shadow. With these words, a voice both sharp and soft rose. Let me see. The villagers moved aside in a flash. Then I saw her. A young woman stood straight amidst the crowd full of confidence. She was wearing a pure white dress that contrasted with the gray and dirty air. With a bright red cloak on her shoulders, she shook her brown hair and smiled mysteriously. Her piercing eyes saw right through my flesh. Oh? As if she had put a finger over my heart, a sharp pain ran through me. Her eyes remind me of the sky, a great azure sky, and the coldness of the ground when my guts spilled onto the floor. Oh, that's so lovely. Delicious. Have you tried putting them back in? I was falling. I was drowning. I was going to hit the floor. I was only Fate's toy, a thing without a will. Oh my gosh, a Fate reference. Yes, that was my dream. A fall. But was it really a dream? The wind blowing in my hair felt so real. The light so bright. And before that, before falling, I was on a lighthouse's promontory. I was watching over the landscape from the top of the tower. The air was fresh, just warm enough, and the sun was caressing my skin. But despite all that, I jumped. I was the one who did it. I killed myself. But why? I do not know. I do not remember why I did it. When I finally came back to my senses, the young woman was staring at me with a large smile. You just got a piece of your memory back, right? What? Who are you? Ah, how stupid of me. I did not introduce myself. Where are my manners? My name is Lys. I'm this village's wise woman, and I'm going to be with you during the inner journey you're going to make in the following days. I do not get it at all. What am I doing here? What is this place? Don't worry, my job also entails telling you about the rules of this world. Let me begin with an overview of what's going on. Then you can ask me anything you want. Is that alright with you? It's not like I have much of a choice, do I? Subject personality. Deeply pessimistic. I see. If this is how you're going to be, go on. Ask me anything on your mind right now. What is a shadow? By nature, a shadow's existence is cryptic. You wake up one day in the temple, you use your time as you see fit, then one day you go back to sleep without any explanation. Isn't that just kind of life? Isn't that just kind of life? And that's what we call being... Oh, well, never mind. She's on the same page I am. I'm so glad we're just like so tight, you know? We think the same. That's what we call being born and dying. But that's not really the best way to describe it because you can wake up multiple times or sleep forever. Oh, okay, never mind. It's the tradition for each shadow to be given a name based on the dreams they had while they were sleeping in their cocoon. It is said that those dreams are in fact memories from your previous life. Your presence here is like a transition. If you manage to put your previous self behind you, you will be able to come back to life and have a second chance. If not, you will be stuck here. Does this mean I am dead? Probably. This is not how you picture the afterlife, right? I mean, this isn't the worst thing. I'd rather take this over than, like, Elysium from, like, Greek mythology where it's just standing in a wheat field. Well, let us say it is rather surprising. I suppose it would be better for one to know the basics of medum psychosis. I didn't mean to do that. Hang on. There we go. Oh, the wheel works. The wheel lets us go back beforehand, but that is not very common. Strangely enough, as long as we're alive, we never worry too much about what comes after. Rebirth and the transmigration of souls. These concepts seem distant to us. And when it is time to die, nobody is ever ready. What exactly happens during a shadow's birth? What is going to happen to me? Oh, that is quite simple. The village council will gather to give you a name, and will let you live among our tribe until the next time you are called to sleep. If you wake up once again in the future, we will give you a new name, and so forth. That is it? Most of it. That's the usual process when someone wakes up, with clear memories of their dream at least. Sometimes a shadow only has partial or blurry memories, so we can't give them a proper name. That's what wavering shadows are. People stuck between worlds, whose flame could vanish at any moment. Where are we? You currently stand in a timeless space, which doesn't have a real name, but you can think of it as purgatory. In this world, the night is eternal, and you'll never see the sun. There's no end to the moor, wherever you go. Nobody knows if it leads anywhere at all. Nobody knows where these ruins come from, and nobody knows why we're the only ones wandering here. But we do know that we're not living beings. We don't need to eat or drink, much less sleep. We are just here. This is incidentally why we've called ourselves shadows. What happens when shadows don't recall their dreams? I couldn't help but gulp as I waited for the answer. The wavering shadows locked in the purification hall for several days, so they can meditate and get rid of the mist in their mind. After those few days, if they manage to get their memories back, they'll have the right to join us. However, if they fail for whatever reason, they're denied. The wavering shadows who fail to overcome this trial are cursed. You'll lose the ability to see as well as the ability to speak. There will only be one way left to atone for your sins, to become one of the temple's priests. Like that person I met when I woke up. They were blindfolded and would not speak to me. They were indeed a priest, so they could not answer you. I get it now. Priests watch over the temple. This is where most of the shadows wake up and where the faded shadows come to sleep. So you do not know anything special to keep them asleep? So you do not do anything special to keep them asleep? Not at all. Actually, the shadows who are on the verge of fading are irremediably drawn to this place and come stand next to the walls by themselves. The plants grow little by little over their bodies and cover them. You can consider your cocoon an extension of your body. That is disgusting. I find this rather poetic, you know. Anyway, the priests lost their existence and now spend their lives serving the community. Some occasionally patrol around the world and try to find shadows who wake up in other places. It is a noble but lonely mission. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of thought this realm was just gonna be like this city essentially, but I guess it makes sense that there's gonna be like a bigger, grander world. There's no other way to save wavering shadows? I'm glad you asked. I love this face. I love her face so much. You see, in the past, we would simply throw them away into the purification hall and wait for them to overcome their trial by themselves. When I came here, I offered to help wavering shadows recall their past lives using a method called... Menemotherapy. That's why those girls brought you to me. I am scared. I love how honest we are. There's no pretenses about anything. It's just like, dog, I'm so scared right now, please. Why are wavering shadows different from the others? I can't tell you why some people have it easier than others when it comes to remembering their dreams, but I have my own theory. In my opinion, it's all a matter of individuality. Not everyone is ready to put things behind them, especially if they have lived a hectic life. There's also a high rate of wavering shadows among those who have killed themselves in the past. I imagine it's because they arrived here with a desire to forget. What is menemotherapy? The whole process simply involves analogy. I just tell stories that involve universal themes suited to my interlocutor's personality. Some of these words, I'm like, I know how to pronounce these, I just simply can't speak them. Then they have to draw parallels with their past lives on their own. My method might appear childish to you, but it does help stimulate the memory. All I have to do is listen to you and react when something sounds familiar. Oh, that was me saying that. Exactly. I'm going to make you explore the, Uchronia, and you'll have to find pieces of your memory. A Uchronia? You must be familiar with the concept of utopia, a place that does not exist. For my part, I let people travel through times that do not exist. Temporal utopias. I had the opportunity to visit in the past. Wait, what do you mean by visit? I thought there was nothing else beyond the moor. I'm not fond of getting into the details because it's rather hard to swallow. But let's say I have the huge privilege of being the only one to leave the village. So there is an exit to this place somewhere? Not really. Well, it's hard to explain. Do you really wish to know? Of course I do. Basically, I'm able to travel from one world to another. They're all closed spaces, but I can walk between worlds to find my way. I can't be seen by the inhabitants of those other worlds, but I can watch many things. That's why I'm able to take you with me in a Uchronia, and why I'm a respected member of the village. Nobody else is able to do this. Wait, you want me to witness past events you have already seen yourself? How is that even possible? Dog, magic. Yes and no. Like I said, these Uchronias, temporal utopias. Time works differently there. I can go back to the creation of a world if I so desire. Why are you the only one able to travel? Well... Liz looks very uncomfortable. She took a deep breath and shot a profoundly gentle look at me. Well, shadows are not really people to begin with. And the things you see in your dreams are not really from your past life. In fact, we're ideas, all of us. Our dreams are our concepts. But a concept is a shifting thing, so it's quite normal to be put to sleep and come back to life as a new variation of that concept. The thing is, nobody here realizes it. Or rather, nobody wants to admit it. Because if there's an idea, then there's someone who thought of that idea. And being the toy of some unseen being is not pleasant. I'm the only one who accepted myself as an incomplete idea and embraced my true essence. That's all. Idea? But ideas cannot feel and think. That is ridiculous. We have to be human. See? I knew you wouldn't believe me. Still, that is the truth. This place does not have a name. The idea's graveyard. You and I are both incomplete characters in a story that has never been told. That's why we're doomed to be born again and again, hoping to achieve our final form and obtain the acceptance of our maker. That is preposterous. You know what? Forget it. You have to be a human being. I was only joking. That was so funny. I knew it. That was one weird metaphysical ramble you went on. It did not make sense at all. Anyway, how do you manage to travel from one world to another? With magic. I'm a witch. Voila. There. Dog, we are so actually on the same wavelength right now. Oh my gosh. There's nothing more to know about me. We can learn how to use magic? No, you can't. Only I am able to do it because I'm special. I'm the chosen one. Oh, I see. I totally get it. You should have told me this. You should have told me this sooner instead of rambling. I hate you all so much sometimes. She's so real. She's the best character. I don't care. It doesn't matter who pops up later in the story. She's gonna be the best character. Sass. The absolute sass on her. Oh, it's going crazy. Tell me more about what happens next. You're the curious kind. I like that. To be honest, I'd rather have active and keen companions, ready to face up to any challenge. It's a lot better than having lazy ones who just follow you without ever saying a word. I hope this means you're in the former category. Well, anyway, we're both going to the purification hall, and I will perform a ritual to take your soul with me. Without your spectral body, you'll just be a drifting perspective. A mere spectator. I'll let you witness the events of the story without intervening. The rest will be up to you. When you go to the fairy tale world, you are bound to witness key moments in the story that are similar to what you have experienced in your own past. The difficulty is that you obviously don't know what is going to lead you to your identity. Everything is going to come down to a feeling, in other words, not much. In other words, not much. That's why I have developed a tool to make your pilgrimage a little easier. Take this. It's a piece of rock crystal. Its properties are rather special as it has been infused with magic. Memory fragment detected. As soon as you will reach a key moment, the crystal will resonate with your lost memories and the screen, your surroundings. Wait, so I was wondering if this was gonna go like fourth wall breaky, and she was just straight up like looking at me, being like, "Your screen, the surroundings of the area will light up like this to warn you." Once you have correctly identified a key moment, the real hard work begins. To get a chance to retrieve your memory, you absolutely need to grab the memento, which is the material or immaterial source of the alert. If you're not sure what you should do when the crystal starts to flicker, try to touch everything you see. You may come upon the memento by chance, teehee. Regardless, the memento will instantly turn into a quartz after being found. Once the tale is over, we will come back here, and I will transform all your quartz into true memories. The more you have in your possession, the more chances you get to piece the puzzle back together. And remember who you used to be. I'm counting on your alertness to bring back as many as possible. If you have any doubts, the fragments you have collected are viewable at any time from your satchel. Practical, isn't it? Just go up and click on the screen right here. I've circled it and I'm pointing at it with an arrow right now. Incidentally, the rock crystal I'm lending you provides plenty of potentially interesting information. You can use it to have an idea of what your progression in the fairy tale is. For example, recently, it has also started detecting strange little creatures who are hiding everywhere in the backgrounds. I called them the elementals, because they're spirits based on the 4 elements: water, fire, wind, and earth. But frankly, I don't know why the rock crystal has decided to reveal these elemental spirits. Maybe you will obtain something if you manage to collect them all. Oh my gosh. Weird to have... I don't think I've ever played like a visual novel where there's like actual collectibles to go after. Anyway, it's easy to let yourself get carried away by the story and miss a memory fragment, so keep your eyes open. Tell me about the Uchronius. Like I said earlier, Uchronius can be defined as events, most often paradoxical ones, lost in time. I especially focus on fairy tales, not only because they're extremely well suited for the exercise, but because everyone thinks they already know about them. Which means... you probably think you know everything about the original fairy tales, right? However, there are dozens and dozens of versions for each story, and they all come from various lands in the same country. Sometimes the story can unfold in an entirely different way. If you think about it, how can you tell what is wrong and what is right? I've got the answer. Really? Today, I'm going to show you the truth behind a fairy tale you must have heard about. I'm going to show you what really happened, and you'll realize that different versions of the story do not necessarily contradict each other. It's actually quite the contrary. They are all true at the same time. I like that it's talking about, like, these things do not contradict each other. And on the contrary to that, it's a contradiction to think that they're contradictions. I was thinking about doing this when I was developing Why Not Both? Little things in the backgrounds to collect. I think that would be, like, such a cute little idea. Like, obviously, like, you'd have to, like, work hard, like, making them, like, be distinguished enough and subtle enough that they don't, like, stand out while also, like, being good and stuff like that. Like, that could actually be, like, a really, really fun thing to do. Especially, like, even, like, Why Not Both? I imagine that they wouldn't be, like, unless you had, like, different ideas with it, I imagine Why Not Both? They wouldn't be, like, plot important. Like, oh, you have to collect a certain amount of things to, like, further your relationship with, like, Chloe or something, like, or whatever like that. I imagine that they would just be, like, kind of like cute little Easter eggs or something like that. Like, was that kind of your idea, or what were you thinking with it? Finally free from everything, hopefully. Looks like I missed a bot. Don't worry, I killed that guy. I got it for you. No worries at all. What have you been up to? If you're okay to talk about it. Obviously, if you're like, it's like secret, private stuff. Don't say anything. But I'm, you know, just curious. I need agua. Exactly, no plot relation stuff. That's why I dropped it. Maybe in the next project, since it's going to be a mystery. Ooh, wait. That sounds interesting. Like the more I've been playing of these visual novels for the festival, the more I've been watching, because I've also been watching so many people like stream and stuff. Like I was watching Nue play the Taisho the Taisho Romance Theater, I believe it's called, and that was so, like, just like uncovering the more and more of the mysteries, like the more everything goes on, the more like things get like unravel and everything. Granted, so from like what I watched of them play, not much of the mystery actually got like unraveled. It was more just setting up a lot of the mystery and the mechanics of the world, and that was a lot of fun to do. But then it's like stuff like death and phaeology, like I don't know, it's so I'm becoming a lot more into these. And then obviously Lock and Key's coming up, and it's going to be a mystery, which is just exciting. So I think I'm down for like these more mystery visual novels going on. So that's exciting. Had a psychiatrist appointment and then more groceries. Oh, that's lovely. I especially like the the more groceries part. Hashtag relatable. But hopefully everything's going well there. But yeah, I realized today that last time I went grocery shopping, I just didn't get like 5 of the things that I needed for the week, so I kind of need to go back and get more. So fun times. But yeah, hopefully everything is going well there. I'm glad you could be here and be free. I'm going to show you what really happened, and you'll realize that different versions of the story do not necessarily contradict each other. Oh, we read that part. Oop. I'm not sure I understand what truth there is in fairy tales. You'll understand when we get there, trust me. A new file has been added to the archives. There, take this. Each time you will be confronted with a lesser-known fairy tale, you will be able to take a look at my notes. It's not much, but I hope you will find them instructive. I think we're done with the questions. Are you satisfied with my answers? Yes, I think so. It's quite hard to determine what I could ask since this whole world is a mystery in itself. You have probably already thought about everything I could think of, and I bet you would like to know the answers as much as I do. Indeed, as you may have noticed, though, one eventually gets used to living in purgatory. That does not mean we have no interest in learning more when possible. Anyway, I think you're ready, and we don't have time to waste. Follow me to the temple. We'll perform the ritual right away. With a lovely smile on her face, Liz stretched a hand towards me. Why was stretched so hard to say? Towards me, and I took it. Though I did not understand everything about the purgatory I was in, I felt like I had nothing to lose by following her. With an anxious heart, I went to the temple to look for my past. Cool. This also makes a lot of sense, because I was saying, like, how exactly is this going to function? Because, like, again, am I even capable of remembering, of atoning for my sins? Don't be afraid, you're not alone. This is the mirror of your soul. Let us visit the Utopia. Oh, I love those transitions. I love that transition. Oh, once upon a time in a land far, far away. Descendant of a great family from Mauritania who had settled in Europe, the princess was as wise as she was beautiful. With her thirst for justice and strong personality, she was soon handed the reins of the country. Her wealth came from her magical donkey she had inherited from her ancestors. The animal could produce gold and jewels at will. She collected them to erect roads and buildings which would serve the interests of her people. And demolish her economy, probably. Under her reign, works of art and projects of all sorts were developed. Her people lived without ever having to fear hunger, since she always found a solution. The attention she had for her people, as well as the vast power her wealth gave her, made the young princess hugely respected across the country, and everybody praised her. God seemed keen on satisfying her in return. The princess indeed fell deeply in love with a young, inexperienced but honest noble, who had eyes for nobody else. He was from a famous family of 12 sons. Since he was one of the last born, he lacked attention and desire to settle far from them, so he could write his own tale. She gave him love and respect. He asked for nothing more. From their marriage, a lovely daughter was born, and she was already on the path to become as wise and brave as her mother. Year after year, the king and the queen who ruled together as fairly as possible. The magical donkey from which came their wealth was treated well, and the couple's life seemed perfectly desirable. A magical atmosphere hung over the realm, and there were rumors the queen had to be part fairy to meet success in everything she was doing. No other country looked more like a fairy tale come true than this one. As the couple was enjoying their life, full of ideas to make their country a better place, misfortune eventually struck. The queen, who everyone thought invulnerable, fell critically ill. Even though the king called the best physicians in the world, nobody was able to find a cure for the sickness that was devouring the queen from the inside. Days passed, citizens were getting more and more restless, and the family more and more depressed, but to no avail. Realizing she was going to draw her last breath, the queen spoke to her husband on her deathbed. She was still young, and she would have gladly kept working on all major undertaken projects. But she was even more remorseful for leaving her husband and her daughter so soon, as she loved the both of them so tenderly. So many things to do, so many memories to have, so many beautiful moments to live. Alas, pain was carving a deep chasm into her chest. As the king was leaning over and stretching a hand towards her, with the saddest look he ever had, she was struggling to tell him her last wills. Her face partially paralyzed, ridden with painful spasms, the queen exhaled excruciating moans. "My dear, this is the end for me. Hush, do not say a thing. Do not wear yourself out. I still believe I have to believe. We will find a cure, and you will be better soon, I promise. It is hopeless, I know this. No, I cannot believe it. Before I depart, I would like you to do something for me. I love you, you know it, and I love the young princess too. I cannot stand imagining you crying over my death for too long. I want you to be happy above all else. What are you trying to imply, my dear? I know how you are. You will not be able to accept my death. You have always searched for my eyes, for my attention. I already know all too well how sad you will be. But you will not be able to mourn my death until the end of time. I would rather follow you in death than live without you, my lady. How silly of you. The kingdom needs you. Our daughter needs you. Do not leave them behind, even for my sake. But sooner or later, you'll have to overcome my death. I want you to live, my beloved. My beloved, I want you to live for me. I will never stop thinking about you. In that case, please allow me to request something. I insist that you remarry. Find someone who will make you happy again. Someone who can take my place in the eyes of the people, of our daughter the princess. I cannot do this. Nobody will ever replace you in my heart. I know it is painful. It is painful for me as well. Deep down, I feel so angry imagining you in the arms of somebody else. But I am not selfish. I want you to be happy above anything else. If I am not here anymore, I at least want a woman as wise as me to know how to heal your heart. This is my last wish. How could I fulfill such a cruel request? You are the one my heart craves, the only one. The queen laughed sadly. Fever and pain were gnawing at her. Soon it became near impossible for her to talk. Her eyes were getting more and more obfuscated, to the point that she was unable to make out her husband's grieving face as he cried beside her. Stretching a hand towards him, towards the light, she tried, rubbing his cheek one last time, regretful she could not help silently shedding tears. The aching was becoming so intense, she was gradually losing her touch with reality. My fate is such a cruel one. I want to live by your side, to bask in your innocent smile for all eternity. Yet I have to go. That is God's will. I do not want to, of course. Of course I do not. It is too soon. There are still so many things I have to do here. But it is too late, however. I cannot do anything but face it. The mere idea of being replaced is harrowing. To imagine someone else living in my quarters, ordering my retainers, settling in my home. To think about someone else in your arms, embracing you, kissing you, giving you new airs. To think about someone else gaining the affection of my daughter, attending her wedding, raising her, and supporting her. It is making me die inside. Jealousy is eating what remains of me. I would rather still be here, would rather have lived those beautiful days forever. But it is impossible. So even if it pains me, even if the thought is unbearable, you must find happiness. You must forget me. And that is so painful to me. You probably thought I would face death with dignity, that I would be stoic and calm. That is how people see me. However, I am only human after all. I wish I had been more righteous, but amidst this pain that is tearing my body to dust, all that remains are regrets. Thus they bid a tearful farewell to each other. Some time later, the queen died in unbearable suffering, and the king was inconsolable. As sensitive and deeply in love as he was, he considered that no girl from any good family would ever rival his late wife. He consequently refused to remarry and swore to never change his mind. The whole kingdom was mourning the death of its queen. One of the greatest ceremonies ever made was organized in her honor. It went on for several days and nights. Whether farmer or merchant, rich or poor, each citizen took a part in the funeral. They decorated the city with lanterns in several places. Some water lanterns were even put on the Great Lake for her sake. At night, the candles could be seen all the way from the Lord's castle. The young princess, who was sorrowful as her father, found comfort in admiring those lights. Those flickering lights looked like spots of hope to her. However, the country seemed to be consumed by the steadfast evil harbinger of storms. Thus, things would never be the same again. As the years passed by, the kingdom slowly declined. The king had lost any hint of motivation and could not bring himself to do anything since his wife had died. He canceled all the great works the country was working on, thinking they had all lost meaning without her, and he locked himself up in stillness and silence. The citizens felt neither heard nor supported, and discontent was growing. Yet the king did not care. It almost seemed like he was trying to be hated by his people. Only the magical donkey was keeping the kingdom from going bankrupt. However, the inevitable happened. The donkey's fame went beyond the kingdom's borders, and several neighboring and wealth-seeking lords tried to invade the lands, leaving them scarred by wars. The once lively castle was now a shadow of its former self. Artists and merchants, fleeing one after another, looking for more auspicious lands. The people had lost all faith in their lord. That's cool. That was really, really cool. Especially like had the stained glass look with everything of like how much the light that was like covering the castle then faded down into like the shadows actually like represent like the change in times. Like that's really, really cool. Wait, yeah, just a little EP, both of us. That is that is so fair. Hopefully y'all are being good at taking care of yourselves and each other. So hopefully everything is going good with that. A friend bought us Legend ZA last night though, so that's very exciting. That is exciting. What the freak? That's so nice. Oh my gosh, that game is so close to coming out. I'm so literally like every day that brings us closer to that game coming out is like I'm like counting down the days. It's like it's almost here. It's almost here. Just over 2 weeks away, and we're gonna have it. I'm so excited to play it. Again, I'm taking a day that I was planning to take off for my birthday, paid time off, like that kind of thing, and I'm moving it to Legend ZA Day. Because if I don't play it that day, I'm not going to be able to play it for a couple of days, actually. So I need to spend all of Thursday playing it. So I'm looking forward to it so freaking much. So freaking much. But hey, that is so cool. That's an awesome thing for a friend to do, so. Also, my mouth is so dry now. That was a lot of yapping. That was a lot of talking. A lot of reading a story. Also, I don't know if y'all can tell, but the side of the screen, the my left side of the screen. I don't know why I said my left side of the screen. The left side of the screen is the same side for both of us. We're all looking at the same screen essentially. Um, is kind of cut off and covered a little bit by my camera. So whenever the words start getting down like low, I have to grab my camera and pick it up so I can read the words there, and then I just put the camera back down, pick it back up, read the words, put it back down. Very very good time. Very good time. The only flaw in using your phone as your webcam, which just makes VTubing better, is the fact that it kind of gets in the way a little bit. My webcam just sat nicely on top of my monitor and was never in the way. It was beautiful. At first, the king's apathy and inexperience were convenient for the nobles. Since he was handling the country rather poorly, he was showing no sign of resistance. Opportunistic counselors took advantage of the situation to seize control of the realm and get richer behind his back. However, the decadent mood was not so convenient anymore. After some time, but was it not already too late? The counselors realized that there was nothing to be expected from the current king, who had become impassive. They had to do something fast for the greater good. Also, I kept like forgetting the fact that this is going to go into like he wants to marry his daughter, where every single time, like every couple of lines, be like, "Oh, this is such a sad, tragic story." He's going to try and marry his daughter. Like this is like genuinely like so depressing. Like look how like distraught he is. Listen to like this like woman like express her grief and her like dying moments about how unfair this kind of situation is. He's gonna try and marry his daughter. And the kingdom's completely falling apart. This is for the worst. He's gonna try and marry his daughter. It's like it kept just like coming back into my mind and like just like kind of poking me and be like, hey, you can't forget that part. Also, the entire game, like the entire like build up, I was like curious, like how exactly is like the actual blurb that we read going to come back into play essentially? And this makes sense. This makes sense. It's just like because we talked about it at the very beginning, like the whole game was giving off like very fairy tale vibes, that kind of thing, and then obviously that it goes like, hey, we're actually going to be having you, wink wink, the main character, wink wink, watch through a bunch of fairy tales and like take like important like life lessons from those, like things that like will help you remember your past. I'm like, oh, this is how we get to the blurb of the story, which also makes me feel like we're going to get like more fairy tales. I think like the reason why this one on particular is like sort of like the front of the game is just because like how, again, like intense of a start it is. Like again, the first line being like about this like king who fell into madness trying to marry his daughter. Like that's a very like attention grabbing kind of line, and it really like again hooks you into it. So I think it also makes a lot more sense than trying to succinctly explain all the mechanics of everything going on, of like, hey, you're a shadow needing to remember your own past lives, so listen to some fairy tales. Like I think what they did with the advertisement makes a lot of sense, to like again like get people's attention, bring them in, and also kind of not spoil the very like meta thing going on right now. The fact that like this game is like aware that it's a game, and like the list is like she's talking to you, the player, directly and explaining things to you. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a good way to like get people interested in the game without having to spoil the game. So I think it's very cool. Factions appeared. Some thought the king could still take care of the realm until the princess's wedding, with whom would become the new king. Otherwise, precisely hoped for the princess to seize the throne earlier than expected. Um. Oh, hi! I badly miscalculated the stream starting time. No, 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 no. You're totally, totally fine. Especially with how like hectic, me actually getting everything scheduled for this week was. It was probably I could take some of the blame for that probably. I could take some of the blame for that probably. But welcome in. How is it going? To answer your question, I just got here. The meta is such a tiny part of the story is all. Oh, so that's why it's like not given much focus in the like the blurbs and everything. Is just because it's like a very is it just sort of like one of those things like here it's kind of like it doesn't matter that much to the story. It's more of just like a vehicle to tell the story through. It's kind of like how what I'm taking from that. I'm Helia, by the way, the devil. Welcome in, Helia. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for being here. It's such an honor that you're here joining us for this. Thank you so much. It's very cool so far. I especially like the stuff at the beginning. I was like, getting like very like into like this idea of all the stuff going on, and the fact that we're going to be like going back and actually watching like the actual like fairy tales happening. Like, I don't know, everything about the presentation so far is just so freaking cool. I did it first, but it confused people more than anything, so I felt it was better to omit the purgatory altogether. Yeah, that's kind of like what I was like thinking about. I was like, this is just like a simpler way of just like grabbing people and pulling people in instead of trying to explain the entire like purgatory system and like all these things and drawing people in that way. That's kind of like the conclusion I came to as well. So like I think you made a very good decision there, especially since you talk about it again. Like you literally tried doing it and it was just confusing for people. So but welcome in. I hope you're having a good day, and I hope the festival's going good for you. I hope you're having a good time with everything going on. I This is such a fun event. This is such a fun event for visual novel lovers, just because like I don't know, there's so many good, cool ones. There's so much like interaction with like you being here. Like there's so much interaction with like the awesome people making this stuff. So like it has been such a cool event that Studio Line has put on. So I hope everything is going good for you and the dev team. So and thank you so much again for being here. Mm-mm-mm. Water. I think I need to find. I think I need to start drinking other stuff like Gatorades a little bit more. I'm kind of like cutting Gatorade out of like my life. Like, I think I work out too much to not be dehydrated from it without like needing Powerade. I'm having a great time. Thank you. Hope you're having fun as well. No, this has been and every single game we've checked out so far has been so much fun. And this one's like so again just interesting to be getting into. Just with everything going on. And I'm terrified for when the dad sets his sights on his daughter. I'm a little scared of that part, but it's also like, but it's also going to be cool because then that's when like the real plot's going to get started. So, and no problem. I love watching people play my game. That's probably such a like a surreal kind of experience. Like watch people interact with the thing that you made. That's probably like such an awesome experience. So, like, thank you so much for being here and being with us while we play it. But I think with that being said, why don't we go ahead and get back on into it? The throne earlier than expected, while some others advised the king to find a new wife who could revive his will, or even that he go back to his homeland and leave the country with a new government. The most extremist nobles had no problem suggesting taking care of the king once and for all, but that last option would not satisfy anyone. They all lived in the wake of the previous queen, and they all wanted to honor her memory, but no one seemed to understand what she had been trying to build. A new file has been added. Also, I was looking at the Steam page while I was getting everything set up for this game, and this game has like 66 achievements, which is crazy, and I love that. I don't know. Even though I'm not like an achievement hunter, I still like the feeling of getting the achievements, because like there are some games like Elden Ring. You'll play for like 10, 15 hours. You'll kill like 7 different bosses, go through like 10 different dungeons. Not a single achievement. I like getting the little achievements every time we get to like a new idea. I think it's like a fun, like almost like a chapter kind of thing. Because of those long struggles, King Thabod was asked to find a new wife day after day. However, he was still obstinately refusing to do so. Also, if I ever mispronounce something, feel free to correct me, because I have been struggle bussing today. His most faithful counselors were growing desperate. Oh, I like the fit. I like the fit on the counselor. But Your Excellency, like, they look so freaking cozy right now, actually. Especially with us moving into, like, the colder season. Like, I would not mind wearing that. But Your Excellency, the whole kingdom's fate is at stake. You cannot remain impassive while some are scheming for your death or your replacement. And then the king is like, dog, did you not hear what I said when my wife was dying? Death sounds not, you know? Is it crazy? I just think it's a neat way to track decisions people make. Yeah. I just like having it. I just like having it. And that is also true. Like the fact that like I didn't even think about that. Because I was thinking of it from like, the perspective like you can track the choices that you made through the achievement screen But I didn't even think about the fact that you could track what people are doing from that. That's so cool. But that is just like data that you have access to, so that's very cool. Has there been anything that's like... Hopefully y'all didn't hear that. Just something really loud banged upstairs. Anyway, it's probably the ghost. Is there like anything that you've seen that's like, oh, I'm surprised this many people are making these choices? Like anything like that? Exactly. Your lack of action is folly. You must choose someone to live by your side and put an end to those complaints weighing on your shoulders. I was literally about to say, is the king just going to be like, no. I do not care. Let them kill me if this is what they want. To follow my queen is my only wish. You cannot say that, Your Excellency. The queen would always think of the kingdom's best interest. If you give up the realm, you betray her memory. So be it. If you do not wish to manage the kingdom, then why keep the masquerade going? You should have married the princess off some... Oh, God. Because of, like, the knowledge of what's going to happen, I thought the counselor was about to say, you should have married the princess. And it's like, no, no, please, please. Wait for him to go crazy before that happens. Oh, real king shit. Listen, knowing where the story's going, I hate to say the king's based, but right now, kinda based. Think of your daughter. It is time for her to see something else. My daughter, the princess may hate me for all I care. My whole kingdom, too. Nobody will ever be as great as my departed wife. But my lord! Enough! I do not want to see you any more for today. Be gone. Leave me alone. This judgment is based on the present and the present only. No, for real, for real. That's why I don't feel too bad saying he's based, because I'm like, right now... The worst thing he's done... Well, I was going to say the worst thing he's done right now is being a neglectful father and king. Which isn't good, but not as bad as it's going. So, you know, he can be a little based right now. Horrified, the counselors could feel the kingdom's ruin looming. While some were already planning a coup d'etat, they were fighting over some arbitrary throne. The loyalists thought they had to find a way to pierce through the king's walls. To get a better understanding of the king's psyche, they called an old druid. Go and try to convince King Thabad to find a new wife. We are ready to do anything to make him change his mind, regardless of whom be the wife he chose. Oh no! Is it the druid's fault? Bah! That's when the druid's name was like, ah, yes, thank you for coming to me. George R.R. Martin, don't worry, I'll go speak these thoughts into his mind. Do not worry, sirs, just sit by. The druid, who was dishonest but quite crafty, happened to be peerless when it came to influencing the human soul. As soon as he appeared before the gloomy king, he made a great impression, thanks to the mysterious look he had perfected. That's a trick question. I don't think the achievements revealed anything too surprising, except for one specific thing, but I already saw that when streamers play the game. And if you hit that point, I'll give you a tip and explain why. Oh, I'm so down for that. I'm so down for that. Yeah, no, like, no spoilers, but when I finally get to it, be like, that's the thing I was talking about. I'm here for it. I really dig the art style, by the way. No, the art style is, like, so nice. My favorite part of it is, like, specifically, like, the, where's my mouse? Oops, there we go. This is going to sound like I'm explaining a lot. Like, I really like the way that the hair just, like, flows so naturally and, like, curls and all that stuff. Like, it feels like, you know, like, more cartoony while also having, like, a very, like, realistic feel to it. Especially with, like, the very, like, light depth that's given from, like, the shadows. Like, the shadows are so well done. And then I love the wrinkles, how detailed around the eyes are. Like, you see this on, like, a lot of the characters so far, but around the eyes are, like, so very detailed. Like, you know, like, bags or like just like the skin being pulled, like that kind of thing. It looks so freaking nice. And again, like we talked about it, like when we were getting into this section, but, like the stained glass look of like beginning the stories was so nice. So yeah, no, I dig it too. Your Highness, your counselors invited me here today because they are worried about your health. Speak freely. What is weighing on your heart? That's when the king turns around and looks at him like, what do you think is weighing on my heart? My wife died. What are you talking about? The death of my wife, of course. I've lost any desire to live since she died in my arms. I cannot see nor hear. I keep on brooding over the past again and again. I understand. The Queen's ghost still haunts you and you're a prisoner of the past. Yet could this spell be broken? You wish for the good of the kingdom, do you not? No, I don't care. Oh, never mind. Naturally, I wanted to follow through with her work. I wanted to be strong. But I let myself be shut away by time and decay. It is far too late now. Also, the music's feeling a little loud to me. I think I'm just going to turn it down just a touch for right now. And I'll turn it back up after this song ends. There we go. Again, just a little hair, just a little touch. If I think there is a solution, you have to find a young... if I may, I think there's a solution. You may have to find a young woman who can become the new queen. No one can do it. I have taken a look at the portraits of all the neighboring girls from good families who are ready to be wed. They have been sent to me, all of them. There's not a single woman with her qualities. Yet you did not wish to meet any of them. Why not give them a chance to show you who they are? It does not matter. I already know. Could it be that you're taking the queen's last wish to heart and you are only ready to wed a far more beautiful woman than she was? Beauty is indeed enjoyable, but I do not really care about it. I only asked her to be wise, smart, and righteous. Are you looking for someone who shares her traits? No. Dog! Dog! I see that look in his eye. Please. Please don't. The king stood still. Given the awkward silence, the druid knew he was right. The king did not just want any princess in the area. He wanted someone who looked like his departed wife as much as possible. If there were a Moorish princess, would you consider marrying her? Maybe? Dog, keep this guy away! Send him away! Then, your highness, I know only one such person. One righteous and wise princess who looks exactly like our departed queen. She lives near you at this moment. And who might she be? I have a portrait of her with me. I think it is only one you did not glance at. Really? Why would my counselors hide this mysterious princess from me? See for yourself. The ambitious druid handed the portrait to the aging king. He grabbed it and paced up and down across the room in a reveling silence. Reveling silence. Oh, thanks. The artist did a fantastic job. If you're wondering, I'm the project leader, writer, programmer, and translator partly. So that's my area of expertise. Wait, so question. Your area of expertise is almost everything, it sounds like? It sounds like you're just really good at things in general. Because that's crazy. So again, like, project lead, write, program, translate. Like, that is insane. That's such good work. And like, listen, so far, all I'm seeing is that you've done a great job. You know? I don't see anything wrong so far. Well, that's awesome. She is magnificent. This face, this skin. Has it been so long since he's seen his daughter? I'm trying to, like, gaslight myself because, like, the king doesn't seem that bad, and it's just the druid changing him, and like and it's the grief. I'm trying to be like, this hasn't been so long since he's actually looked at his daughter that he can't recognize that it's her. The druid just pulled out a picture. Like, I mean, she looks like your wife. She has all the qualities of your wife. Isn't this exactly what you're looking for? And he's like, oh my gosh, you're so right. Oh my gosh, this is based. Aw, thanks. Of course, of course. Listen, when compliments are warranted, they should be given. Oh, I just hope. I don't know. I'm trying to, like, absolve the king because it makes it feel better for me. She is lovely. And you are telling me that she is wise and righteous? Yeah, he so doesn't recognize her. Absolutely, your highness. She has received the best education. I recognize those eyes. I could swear I am looking at my wife. How is this possible? Who is this foreign girl? She is Princess Kiona, your daughter, your majesty. My daughter? The king was shocked for a split second. Depression had taken hold of him to the point of cutting him off from reality. Oh, okay, okay, cook with it a little bit. To be honest, he had refused to see his daughter since the queen's funeral because her mere presence reminded him of those beautiful days forever lost. He did not even know what she looked like or what kind of woman she had become. He suddenly felt shameful. All right, oh, yeah, look at that face. That's my face too right now. Get this guy out of here. Get this freak out of here. Are you making a fool of me, Druid? Are you telling me to marry my own daughter? Admittedly, it must sound rather extreme, but think about it, Your Highness. Is there someone else who could look more like your departed wife than her? Is it not troubling? I would even say, is it not troubling? I would even say it is a gift from God. A divine gift, you say? Princess Kiona looks too much like her departed mother for it to be a mere coincidence. This is God's will. The queen's soul did not go to heaven. It settled in that younger, tailor-made body. Oh! That it was a combination of a lot of things. Tailor-made body when just talking about someone else is just kind of like a foul thing to do. Unless it's like, actually, like, let's say you made a robot and you're like, this body is tailor-made to carry out these kinds of tasks designed for this robot to do. That's different. That's different. But when you're talking about like a real actual person, you're like, ooh, look at that tailor-made body. It's like, oh. And then the fact that he's like, it's settled in that younger one, it's like, oh. This man, please. I made the George R.R. Martin comment. Please get him out of here. I don't want to be around him anymore. Gross. Oof. No, for real. Ugh. She is simply waiting for you to find. Oh, stop. Ugh. I feel it's gross. I need to take a shower after like half a conversation with this man. She is simply waiting for you to find her, my lord. Do not miss this second chance. God, what a freak. What a weirdo. Confused by the old druid's silver-tongued words, King Thabad hesitated and eventually sent the man away, claiming he would think about it. But the seed had already been planted. Weakened by his unstable state, the king was already struggling not to completely succumb to despair. The flickering hope the swindling druid had brought to him was enough to make the king fall into darkness. Little by little, over the course of the increasingly frequent visits from the man who would become his confidant, the king started to give in to the idea. No. The druid had a way of implying that the young princess was actually the reincarnation of her mother, and that she surpassed her in everything, so much so that the impressionable king eventually believed him. Does that even make sense, though? They already had the daughter. I mean, I guess it's like, how old was the daughter when the queen died? Young, I know, but like, not like an infant, right? Because like, reincarnation is like probably like, I mean, I guess it depends on like the beliefs of this country, but I feel like most people would believe like, do you want to reincarnate into someone who's like already been alive for a little while? But again, if it was like she was like really young, again, like an infant or like a baby, I feel like that's more believable, I guess, depending on like the times, like the beliefs. I fear it's going to be gross for a little while. Thanks, fairy tale. I appreciate it so much, fairy tale. It's going to be a good time. Oh, fun. To be fair though, just because it's like gross and uncomfortable, like that's like so fine though. Like, there was a movie. Oh, what was the movie called? I forget what it was called, but it was basically about a high school girl who is getting with her teacher, and all like the awful, terrible implications of that. And it was actually written and starred by like the girl getting with the teacher. And in my film studies class, we got to talk with her about it after watching the movie, like the actress who wrote and played in it. And when I finally got up to ask my question, I started off with like, complimenting her and be like, I never thought I would enjoy being so uncomfortable for so long. Because like, again, it's just like setting the mood. It's just like, I don't know. It's just like a different like feeling to have through the story. So And it's also probably going to feel good when we like overcome this, right? Right? Or it's going to feel really good when we get to the happy ending. That definitely wasn't implied to maybe not be happening in the blurb. Does she God, that was so poorly written. Anyways, this new obsession was the only thing which was keeping him alive from this point forward, and thus he did the unforgivable. Like, I keep going back to George R. R. Martin. Like, there's a lot of uncomfortable things in that story, but like that doesn't mean it's like not good. Like, I do feel like obviously it's like difference of like taste. So I feel like there are a lot of people who, like, if a story makes them uncomfortable, they don't like it, and I'm just like not like that. Like, I love like horror things. Like, I love being made uncomfortable by the things I'm watching or reading or playing. Believe it or not, but there's a fairy tale, a fairly popular French movie adapting Donkey Skin, and the incest thingy is treated very flippantly. It's worse than framing the gross thing as gross, in my opinion. Wait, what is Donkey Skin? I've never heard of this. Hang on, let me look this up. This might be a terrible mistake. But when you say that it's like adapting Donkey Skin, the incest thing is treated very flippantly. Like it's like not being, like it's presenting a gross thing, but like not treating it like it's wrong. Essentially. Donkey Skin is the name of the tale. Oh, right. Yeah. You right. Oh, interesting. I'm now just doing more research about Donkey Skin for like the film specifically. Yeah, like when I was like thinking like I more meant like I didn't know like this was like a real fairy tale, so I was like doing like more research on that. That's so cool. Wait, that's actually gonna be like such a cool thing that these are like based off of like actual like French fairy tales, because I don't know, like I know some like Nordic ones and some from like the UK and stuff like that, or just like England in general, like stuff like that. But I don't know any French fairy tales. That's so cool. This game has an archive system, so you can read the original. Oh, so when it's getting updated there, I assume like the archives updating was just kind of like being like, oh, you played through like this scene, now you can go back and rewatch it. But the archives are like have like the fairy tales in them. That's so cool. Also, there's an animated version of Donkey Skin, a bedtime story. Weird. But yeah, no, that's so cool. That's so cool. Didn't realize that this was going to be based off of real things. I guess that kind of makes sense because, like, at the beginning, like, the stuff that, like, Liz was talking about at the beginning is, like, these fairy tales, like, may seem familiar, but we're going to give you, like, a new side to them. But the entire time, like, because, like, based off of, like, the description of the game, I was like, well, I don't know this fairy tale, so I assumed that this was a fairy tale made up for the game. So that's actually really, really cool. Also, we should probably save at one of these slots. Yeah, there we go. That's a good call. We're definitely good. Also, that'd be a fun thing to do. Like, once we get through like a fairy tale, like this version that you're telling, it'd be fun to like go back and like read the actual fairy tale in the archives. That'd be really cool. There's a lot of French fairy tales, so that's surprising. The archives will tell you about Perrault then. I'm excited to get into it because I think because one of the reasons I know like the Nordic ones is because a book that I was writing a few years back, or at least, you know, it was one of the many projects that I started and then just never finished, was about like fairy tales and like them being like true and like that kind of stuff and like mythology being real. And so I was doing a lot of research into that. So that's why I know that specifically. I just feel like outside of like, again, stuff from like England, you know, like the Grimm fairy tales, like not a lot of stuff like actually transferred over to the US, I feel, from other places. So that is very cool. I'm looking forward to it. That morning, a sweet scent hung in the castle's corridors. The azure sky hinted at a beautiful spring day ahead. In the feeble light, gosh, I love like the little like flickers of like moving across the screen, and the fact that like again like the background's like animated and stuff. Like, I don't know. It's all these like little touches that like make these scenes feel so full. In the feeble light illuminating a four-poster bed, a silhouette was quietly moaning. All of a sudden, hurried footsteps could be heard nearby, and the doors slammed open. A breathless young retainer entered the suite. Oh, your dress is beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love your hair. Hello? Domestic? That's her name? Okay. Princess, it is time to wake up. A muffled groan was her only answer. I would love to let you sleep, but I cannot do so. Unfortunately. Do not forget that your private tutor has scheduled a lesson for this morning. The figure moved laboriously. Oh wait, her hair's amazing too. Oh, and the cloak is rad. Oh my gosh. Again, I love the way that like the hair and the clothes is drawn in this game. There's just something about it. It's like, very nice. Is that you, Nahima? Who else, princess? I am the one waking you up every morning. Now please make haste and get out of bed. We need to perform your toilette. Is that how you say that? Is that how you say that word? The young woman stood up without a word and let her lady-in-waiting guide her. Though, through precise and vigorous gestures, she made her take a bath, then took care of dressing her. Just as the retainer was going to brush her hair, Kiona finally seemed to get out of her torpor. What is that flowery scent that has been tickling my nose since this morning? It must be verbenas. Verbenas, princess. It is that season after all. Verbenas are quite exquisite flowers, do you not think? All those colors. Maybe. I see that you're not fully awake yet. Did you happen to spend a rough night? I do not know. All I remember is that I dreamt for quite a long time. And what did you dream about, princess? Ooh, what do I want to say here? Oh, I want to go ahead and do a little safety sloop here. Because the way I like to do the visual novels is like, we stick with our choices, and then after the game's over, we tend to go back and make all the choices. Glad you like the approach. I actually worked on a few other visual novels as a programmer for this reason. I did that on... You did that on First Snow, for example? You did that on First Snow? What the freak? I love First Snow. It's one of my faves. That's crazy. I had no idea. You also did excellent work on that. So yeah, no. It is... That's so freaking cool. But yeah, no, like the... Again, like you can even see it now, it's like still like there's still like little flecks of like light or dust like moving across everything. And it just... That's something that like is specifically in this festival, because a lot of the games we've been playing have had like little touches to make things like feel like less stagnant, like more alive, more lived in, more like, you know, like more like dynamic in that way. And I feel like that's just like something that I'm showing, like even there's something I talked a lot about like when we were playing like A Tithe in Blood, and I have like playing A Tithe in Blood, like visual novels now are like taking so much more care to like make things feel more dynamic than just here's a background, here's two characters, which I think is like, when I say that, like it's still a very good approach. Like I didn't even realize, like in my brain after reading visual novels for years, I never realized that there was more to kind of do with that. But like I'll even use like social, since you're here, I'll use Why Not Both. Like the way like a lot of the painted backgrounds are done in that game gives it such a unique blend that, because it feels like very, a lot of them feel like not Steel Lifes. How do I put this? What am I trying to say here? The point I was trying to get across is the way that they're painted. Like it feels almost like you have a picture and you're just repainting that picture of like a real actual place, despite the fact that a lot of the places that we're visiting in that game are like, you know, places for your setting, which helps like all these things feel a lot more alive than if it was just kind of like, you know, you can more kind of standard kind of backgrounds. So like that's why I wanted to use that as an example, because like there are just so many visual novels that are coming out now that are trying to do like little extra things to stand out more, to feel more dynamic while you're going through it. So I really, really like it. I'll say I was with you, winky face. Some choices will impact the story later on. Oh? Oh, wait, hang on. Was that symbol like one of the things I was supposed to click on and collect? Or was that just like being like this like a telltale Clementine will remember this kind of things? Hang on, let me go. Oh, we can scroll back to the choice? That's crazy. Okay, yeah, no, we don't have to click on that. Okay. I thought it was going to be like one of the things that we needed to like collect and worry about. So I was like, oh no, I don't want to miss it. We were both in a vast flower field on a sunny day. I think you were weaving a crown while claiming me your queen. Oh, it almost sounds romantic. Romantic? I do not know, however. I clearly remember that I was feeling incredibly serene. Do you think that this is a good omen? Assuredly. In any case, that is all I wish. That is all I wish you. Your dream was surely very pleasant, princess, but you should not fall asleep again. Do not forget that your lesson is supposed to start soon. Do not worry about me, Nahima. I am quite positive the poor sod will be late again anyway. Princess, you should not speak ill of your tutor. He is an excellent teacher. God, wait. Kiona? She looks so cute and cozy right now. What a vibe. What has he planned for today? I do not know. We have completely given up on arithmetic over the past couple of days, and we are now focusing on practicing singing and playing the harp. You are only studying music? Why the sudden change? It is a request from my father, or so it seems. I do not know why. I have not seen him for years. I thought he had no more interest in me. I'm sure the king is simply a bit shy. Though he can get on his high horse, he may not even dare to be near you after your mother's death. I think he resents me. Why would that be? One way or another, he must be ashamed of me. He surely found a mistress after all this time, and sooner or later, he will tell me that he wants to repudiate me. That would not be correct of him. In that case, why has he not tried to marry me off yet? I'm 17. And it just got worse. And it just got worse. Why did it just get worse? Oh, no. Listen, it was just the times, guys. It's fine. No, it's still icky. The symbol is here to help you know which love interest you're... Oh, wait, that's so cute. Wait, that's awesome. Yeah. I love when I'm looking at the game, I get like the no, and then I look over at the chat and I'm like, oh, that's so like awesome. Oh my gosh, thank you for telling me that, like, happy. And then I look back over at the game and I just saw the 17 thing again. And it's like, oh. I do like the freedom, but I cannot shake the feeling that this is a bad omen. After all, young girls from good families are wed between 12 and 14 years old. I am getting old, and at this rate, nobody will ever want to marry me. With a lovely face like yours, perish the thought. You are as beautiful as an angel, princess. And smart at that. No prince should ever refuse your hand. Oh. Guys, it's just the times. It's just the times. Ugh. Just had to throw up there a little bit. It's fine. God, never take me back. Never take me back to these times. Thank you, Nahima. It is nice of you to comfort me. You know I mean it. Look at that beautiful hair. I could brush it for hours without getting bored. Kiona gave a faint but tender smile. Nahima had been her lady-in-waiting, her personal assistant, and her confidant for many, many years. As far as she could remember, they had been inseparable. Older by only 2 years, Nahima happened to share the heiress's Mauritanian origins. However, unlike Kiona's family, which had always consisted of famous nobles, Nahima's humbler family had settled in the region as retainers. The late queen herself had trusted the young Mauritanian servant, and that was how she had become the princess's lady-in-waiting, despite her humble origins. She was now greatly enjoying taking care of the princess, and the sudden death of the queen had only brought them closer. It was, without a doubt, Nahima's optimism and kindness that were allowing Kiona to live a comfortable life despite the grim state of the country. Between the lessons intended to hone her knowledge and the time spent with her retainer, the heiress was not lacking in anything. Yet she was feeling deeply bored, and to her dismay, no party could ever awaken the sleeping castle. If things kept going like this, I'm going to die of old age within these walls, she thought, a bit melancholic. No one will ever look for me, no one will ever come to save me, and I will end up alone in this depressing place. She did not want to show Nahima her anguish, so she tried her best to smile. With the brushing done, the two girls left the room to attend to their occupations. Also, the music is so just pleasant to listen to. Like, this is stuff that, like, next time I'm, like, doing, like, if I ever, like, host another D&D campaign, because mine's, like, getting very close to ending, and I've been doing it for, like, almost 5 years now. If I do another D&D campaign at some point after this, I would not... I think that this music would be, like, so good to put into it. Once the servant was out of sight, the princess sighed. Even though Nahima was her confidant, and she trusted her, there was one thing Kiona had never told her. Something was troubling her. She sometimes felt like she was being watched, especially on a day like this one. As the weather was sunny, her tutor enjoined her to go to the palace's inner garden to begin her recital. And, as she had foreseen, the princess felt someone insistently looking at her as she was singing, a gaze that was coming from the king's cabinet. Oh no. Oh, that's so ominous. As usual, the king was observing his daughter from afar, staring at her with a desire that was not hidden anymore. The old druid had grinded him down, and now the old king was as desperate as he was convinced he had to marry her. Guys, trust me, it wasn't my fault. I was tricked into wanting to marry my daughter. Ugh. He just wore me down too much. Oh my gosh, I'm such a victim. That day, his counselors had gathered at his request. He was going to inform them of his decision. The mood was heavy. Everyone felt something major was about to happen, and they were as worried as they were eager to hear what the king had to say. I hope they all go, no, right? This is a bit, this is a joke, this is weird. Thank you all for coming. As you know, many of you have been begging me to remarry. Until now, I was quite against it, as I wanted to keep the promise I had made to my late wife. However, I have finally found someone worthy of replacing her, and sitting beside me on the throne. A round of applause filled the room. The counselor seemed both incredulous and ecstatic. Thank you for making that decision, Your Highness. You may have thought of us as insensitive, but we were only doing it for your sake and the kingdom's. Absolutely, and we are sure the woman you have chosen will be up to the task. Could you tell us who the lady who managed to entice you might be? Of course, I will not hide the truth for much longer. She whom my heart has chosen is Princess Kiona, and I hereby officially announce my decision to marry her. In a shared movement of fear, all the counselors fell silent. Based. Listen, sometimes you just need your boys to tell you when you're being weird and gross, alright? You just need that. Some thought they had misheard. Others thought it was a misunderstanding. One brave soul decided to break the silence and shyly asked, Princess Kiona, your daughter. My daughter indeed. Loud whispers filled the king's cabinet. A mix of horror and bewilderment could be seen on the faces of the nobles. Time seemed to have stopped, and the cheerings had been replaced by contempt and cold glares. Another counselor dared to speak. But Your Highness, with all due respect, you cannot marry your own daughter. The church says... Did you not swear a few seconds ago to accept my choice, whatever it would be? Are you never satisfied? I am finally fulfilling your wish, and this is still not enough? You rascals! Be gone, and I will not change my mind. I will propose to Kiona this very day. Thus the counselors were chased from the king's cabinet like criminals. Gathered in the corridor, They soon began arguing aloud, exposed to all the retainers who were passing by. The king has gone crazy. We had warned you. We should have gotten rid of him. You know what? True and real. You fools, this is your fault. The druid you paid so generously is a sham. He put some devilish thoughts into his head. Look at the result. It is just a sleight of hand. By marrying the princess, he is trying to keep the kingdom under his yoke. Once the wedding is consummated, we will not be able to exile him anymore, nor will we be able to ally with Kiona to take back power. We are at his mercy. It is still possible to appoint an assassin and... Enough! It is because of you extremists that we are in this bind. Really, if you schemers had managed to come to an agreement, maybe we would not be here. Us? You are not the ones... Are you not the ones who let that druid do as he pleased? Let us face the fact. You loyalists are at fault. They soon came to blows, and the news quickly spread in the whole castle like wildfire. Oh, no. She was coming back from her tutor. Princess Kiona took the opportunity to wander in the near-empty palace, still in a melancholic mood. Once again, she had felt her father observing her. Whether it be while singing in the garden or later that day during other lessons, he had never stopped staring at her. She had noticed his behavior for quite some time, and she could not help but feel a deep unease. Was he, the man she had not seen for so many years, interested in her again? Oh, too much. He's a little too interested. He's too interested. Yowza, look at these results. These results are the worst. This is the worst timeline. Was it an awkward way for him to make amends, as Dahima had said? Or was it a far darker reason? Kiona had a bad feeling about this. Some other day she would have dismissed those thoughts, but today was special. I love the face. I love the face. All day long she had been under the impression that the servants were whispering things in her path. Something weird was definitely going on. With a knot in her stomach, she shook her head nervously. Like it's stuff like that I mean, of like having like them actually like standing a lot further on the back, zooming in on them. Like I like a lot of that kind of stuff going on. I should stop thinking about it. It can only hurt me. She suddenly noticed that the castle was bathing in sunset. Already that late? I must make haste. I promised Dahima I would pay her a visit. Oh, I don't like him emerging from the shadows like that. As the princess was walking towards the castle kitchen, where most of the retainers were at that time of the day, she felt, hang on. Boop. She felt a presence behind her back. Reflexively, she turned back and caught a glimpse of a man standing before her. Her heart skipped a beat like never before due to the surprise. Astounded, she tried to fan herself to get rid of the warmth that was spreading through her whole body. She needed a few seconds to recognize the solemn man, but any possible doubt had vanished. It was the king. Father, I have not seen you in so many years. Are you surprised, my daughter? Well, you seem to be avoiding me since the death of Mother. I regret that very much. Have I made you suffer? Yes, Father, I just want to speak with you again, if possible. All these years, I was only inhabited by loneliness and bitterness. I did not want you to see me like this. Oh, that was him saying that, sorry. But today I've decided this cannot continue. I'm glad to hear that, Father. Still petrified because of how surreal the scene was, Kiona politely answered while taking a closer look at the old man's faded and worn-out face. Had he always looked that tired? That aloof? She could not remember. The unexpected presence of the king could have been a great moment of happiness for the young woman, but in the shadow of the looming night, she could glimpse a red light in his eyes, a crazed and bloodthirsty light. With each word, the king was getting closer, looking more and more threatening, like a raven spreading out its wings. What good, like, what's it called? Oh my gosh, I had this exact thing. Whenever I'm, like, trying to think of, like, the way to describe writing, it's like I always forget what the word actually is. Never mind, whatever. Just really well written. The unease did not leave Kiona's fluttering heart. Is this why you have come to see me, Father? As a token of reconciliation? Better than that. I want you to be by my you want to be by my side, do you not? I know of a way to bring us closer, but this hope rests on you. Do you love me? I love you, like a daughter must love her father. And then he's like, ugh, that's gross. Why'd you phrase it like that? This is not what I want to hear. I love you, my daughter, and I have decided to marry you. Kiona could feel her blood rushing through her veins. Cold sweat was running down her spine. She did not want to believe it. My apologies, Father, but the church's teachings... I do not care about those. Forget them. I love you and I want to make you my spouse. But I cannot. That would be a crime. He cut her pleading short with a voice as sharp as steel. I think you do not quite understand. You will marry me, whether you want to or not. I have your life in my hands. You have no choice but to obey me. Terrified, Kiona glanced around her, but there was no way to escape the king's imposing stature. But the king's imposing stature was blocking the corridor. Yet an overwhelming urge to run away was tormenting her from inside. She had to find a way. She tried to negotiate. Please, at least give me some time to think about it. The old king scowled at her, displeased. You have 1 hour. No more, no less. I will be in your bedchamber? Oh... Can't you go back to... Oh, well, I don't want to meet you in your bedroom either. Can we just, like, I don't know... meet in a public place with a lot of witnesses around? I don't know. I finished thinking about my proposal by then. Then he turned around and walked away, his cloak floating through the wind, leaving the princess lost and shocked. A dreadful marriage proposal? Yeah, no, for real. And he was vanishing from her field of vision, turned red by dusk. She let herself fall to the ground. This is not what I wanted. Leaving the princess to her sorrow, the old king went back to the druid who had advised him so well. Yeah, that's certainly one way to put it. That's definitely one way to put it. Hang on. Hang on, let me go. What a lovely family dynamic. Oh no, yeah, no, for sure. What a lovely little family to have. Hell yeah. Just a quick question. Is this kind of like, this is kind of spoilers for like the actual fairy tale, but is this like kind of how it went, of like it's the druid who convinces the king to do it, or is that something you added for the sake of the game? Cuz this freaking guy sucks. This guy's the worst. He should have just low-key should have just let the kingdom fall to ruin. Should have just let someone assassinate the king. I don't know. Listen. I don't know. Just so you know, there's a shortcut if you want to access the archives at the bottom of the right corner. The answer is in the archives. Wait, there's a button at the right corner of the text box. Oh wait, this? Text log extras? Is that what you mean, or do you mean like this thing? No, it's definitely not that thing. It's definitely not that thing. This is the settings. Oh wait, save. Ooh, what does this button do? I kind of want to click it. What does this one do? Oh, it does that. Extras? Oh, okay. Oh, it brought up more extras. Okay, never mind. I'm silly. Introduction. Los Petits Cudes. Donkey skin. Wait, how long? How... Is this all the pages for it? Oh, no, this is actually, like, really short. Oh, we can definitely read this. Hang on. Donkey Skin is one of Charles Perrault's first fairy tales. Originally published in rhyme, there's a later version written in prose. Oh my gosh, it's the prose. That's what I was thinking of. But its authenticity has never been established. Donkey Skin tells the story of a great monarch, virtuous in every way. He owns a curious donkey which, instead of emitting feces, produces gold coins at will. The animal is treated with regard as it's the source of the kingdom's wealth and prosperity. Unfortunately, the king's happiness is short-lived as the queen falls critically ill one day, dying. She makes him promise to never remarry unless it is with a woman even more beautiful than her, as she secretly thinks he will never succeed. The sovereign agrees and grieves for her loss, but his mourning only lasts a few months. He is quick to move on and seeks a new spouse. who would have a more attractive trace than the previous one. Oh, that's actually interesting that it's like he's like, in like the original story, he's like, oh no, my beautiful wife. Ah, a few months later. Anyways. He was quick to move on and seeks a new spouse who would have more attractive traits than the previous one. Since no maiden was able to suppress the late queen, he eventually turns to his own daughter, who meets all the criteria he then decides to marry her. In the original, the king simply consults a casuist to ensure the legality of his endeavor. In the prose version, it is an old druid who deprives the king of any qualm concerning his evil deed. In both cases, he seems to fall in love with the poor princess with disconcerting speed. Oh, that's interesting. Interesting. Hang on, I mean, I guess if we're here, we might as well just check out the other archives as well. Also, the logo's so freaking clean. Archives never includes the full text, just quick summaries. Otherwise, oh yeah, for sure, it would get tedious if it's like, here's the entire fairy tale, have fun. Like, I do think that could be kind of cool, but if you're just going into it just trying to look for like a quick like, oh, like what's like the differences here, it would become like super tedious to have to like scan an entire work for that. Les Petites Caudes. Wait, hang on, let me go. In Tales from Earth and Sea, 1883, Folklore, Paul Stabilot. I'm so sorry to all of these people. Tells a story that is quite similar to Beauty and the Beast, except for a few key details. A king and queen have 2 daughters called Dawn and Dusk. They give preference to the eldest as she is the prettiest and love her more than her sister. In order to marry Dawn, they organize a great ball and are very pleased to note that a swarm of suitors are gathering around her. However, as time passes, suitors gradually turn their back on her because she is hardly amiable, preferring the youngest. If Dusk admittedly proves to be slightly less beautiful, she is in reality witty and full of grace, so much that everyone enjoys her company better. Irate to see their favorite ignored, the king and queen resolve to get rid of her rival. Under the flimsy excuse of paying a visit to her godmother, they send her in the forest in the dark of night. Dawn and Dusk, Aurore and Crepuscule in French, have quite the appropriate names. One embodies the morning's brightness, and the other evening simplicity. The youngest daughter nevertheless remains the true protagonist of the story. That's cool. Hang on, I want to read. We have one more of the archives. I didn't mean to back out of it. Introduction. Okay, yeah. We'll just read this one really quick. Where you come from, you must have certainly heard of Charles Perrault, insofar as his work. Mother Goose Tales. Oh, I know that one. 1697 is universally read. You think that you know all there is to know about fairy tales thanks to his legacy, when it is, in fact, a far more extensive and complex subject than it appears. Perrault indeed takes his inspiration from oral traditions and folklore from his country, yet he does not give a faithful interpretation of them. On the contrary, he rewrites them as he wishes with a fashionable style specific of his time. Thus, there are numerous adaptations, translations, and reworkings of the same stories through time. Fairy tales are not frozen. Each provenance, each country possesses its own variations that sometimes merge together in a surprising way. Consequently, hang on, where did consequently go? I scrolled. It is almost impossible to find the defined origin of a tale, even more so when there are traces of said tale in several distant countries around the same time. It is for all these reasons that I invite you to travel with me, in addition to helping you collect your lost memory. Maybe this Uchronia will make you discover the richness and diversity of fairy tales. In any case, that is all I wish you. Cool. I think from here on out, we might actually like go through and read all the archives, like when they pop up, like when we actually get them. Also, there are a bunch here. Oh my gosh. Nice. So yeah. Also, this indicates that we have we've gone through 7% of the archives. That's cool. That means we have so much left to get. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Every single time an archives thing pops up, we'll read it right when we get it. So thank you for pointing out that we had that in the archives. Oh. Leaving the princess to her sorrow, the old king went back to the druid who had advised him so well. Druid, my confidant, speak frankly. Is my love for Kiona sinful? Not if your feelings are mutual, your highness. Has she become enamored with you? I do not know. She seems confused. Shaken. Are her feelings for you mutual? Well, she screamed at me that she didn't want to marry her, and that us getting married was illegal because she's my daughter. And she asked for more time because she didn't want to decide right now. Are these good signs? Is she into me? Does she want it? No. And it's like the druid's like, yeah, this sounds about right. This is how that should go. Am I making a mistake? Her confusion is only natural, Your Highness. The princess is still young. She cannot analyze her feelings well yet. Ugh, chat, is this Riz? He sends it to the bros group chat being like, guys, is she into me? Oh, terrible, terrible time. That feeling when the bros group chat gets leaked. Oh no. Oof. Oh. The day any of my boys have as much Riz as this king is the day I need to probably get new friends. I don't know. CS weeps. Oof, 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 oof. Also, what a terrible thing to say. The princess is still young. She cannot analyze her feelings well yet. So that's time for you to move in and marry her. With some time, she will perfectly get used to it. See, my king, you are a lot like, most bad foods. You're an acquired taste, some would say. So I must give her time. More than time. She needs to forget her she needs to forget her reluctance. For that reason, you should, for instance, answer to her every whim. Oh. Interesting way to go about it. Just do everything she says. If you shower her with presents, she will soon understand how strong your love is, Your Highness. I'll keep that advice in mind for after the wedding. But tell me, do you have a daughter? Please tell me he doesn't have a daughter. Please, 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 please. Unfortunately, I do not, Your Highness. Yes, let's go. But believe me, if I had one... Okay. But believe me, if I had one, I would not think twice before marrying her. Okay. What a sentence. What a sentence. Unfortunately, I do not, Your Highness. But believe me, if I had one, I would not think twice before marrying her. Fuck this druid, bruh. No, for real. That is foul. This line is from the movie I mentioned earlier, actually. Get them away. Get them away. If the person who had that movie has siblings, get them away from the siblings in this instant. Yippee, I love desensitization through trauma. It has never hurts anyone mental, never ever. No, for real. No, for sure not. Desensitization is actually like such a good and healthy thing to go through, you know? Especially when it's related to your trauma. Gosh, it's just so good. Ew, 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 ew. When I said the incest was flippantly described, I wasn't lying. No, for real. For real. I pray to everything that the person who made that movie, like, directed it and was in charge of everything, doesn't have siblings. That's... Imagine your, like, sibling comes up to you and is like, hey, I made a movie. Do you want to watch it? It's called Donkey Skin. And it's like... Or I guess not your sibling. Not your sibling. Imagine, like, you come home from a long, you get, like, you're sitting there at home waiting, and your parents show up with that movie, and they're like, hey, I made this. Do you guys want to see it? Like, oh, I would never, ever be able to look at my family the same ever again. That would be, like, the worst day. Ugh. Anyways. Fun times. Pleased with the druid's cajolery, King Thabad got out of his cabinet, even more determined than before to make his daughter yield. Ugh. This movie is more like all little girls want to marry their fathers. It's just a phase. It's weird. Gross. 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 Like... Gross. I don't know. Again, imagine your dad comes home with this movie and is like, hey, man, I just really related to this movie. I thought it'd be a fun family thing for us to watch. Let's do it all together. Oh. Like, I know that, like, like, when you're, like, a little tiny toddler, sometimes you go, oh, like, Mom, Dad, I'll marry you, like, that kind of stuff, because you don't get, like, what any of that stuff actually means. As a parent, you should never have those thoughts about your child. I don't know if we need to say that. While it is true that some girls may feel that way for a brief period of time, that should never, exactly, it should never be reciprocated. It's sort of like the idea of, like think of, like, teachers. Like, having a crush on, like, one of your teachers is so absolutely normal. You should never do anything about it, by the way. As a student, you should never do anything about it. And as a teacher, you should never, ever, ever reciprocate, like, any of those kinds of feelings. It's sort of like, it's kind of like on the responsibility of, like, the adult to shut, like, any of, like, those kinds of things down, you know? So yeah, it is a good movie. You can stop cringing at the way they portray the movie. Portray the incest, yeah. Well, especially, like, with warnings. Like, I feel like if I watch it now going into it, because obviously this might come as a shock. I do watch things a little bit differently than, like, we go through things on here, just a little bit differently. So, like, I would cringe a little bit at first, but then I'd be like, I guess this is what we're doing now. All right. So it's normal. I mean, no, it's not normal. It's not normal. I would just, like, it wouldn't, like, I wouldn't be cringing at it the entire time is what I meant to say. Ugh, never take that out of context. Never. I didn't mean to say it was normal. After that overwhelming encounter, to say the least, Kiona went almost mechanically to her bedroom. Then she silently sat on her bed, like a dislocated automaton. She found a bit of comfort in her misfortune. She now understood why the king seemed so weirdly reticent to marry her off. He wanted her for himself. I've had 2 students over the past several years hit on me, and I shut that shit down immediately. I have some toxic colleagues who have said some disgusting things about what they'd like their students to do. Gross. No, like, because it's just like I don't know, positions of power. Like, it's one of those things like, oh, in, like, a fantasy, it's like, oh, the teacher-student thing can be, like, a fun fantasy, but it should never be something that's, like, a reality, essentially. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, that's kind of like one of those things of, like, keep it to your book talk books, all right? Like, we'll keep it there. We don't need this to be a real thing going on. So, yet again, good on you for, like, just shutting that down instantly. Because, oh my gosh, wait. I'm going to tell a short story. I should be trusted with a knife near said colleagues of yours. So, I hadn't seen a friend in a couple of years. And the first time I saw her was when I was on the bus ride. Exactly, get him. And do it with that smile on your face, too. It was the first time I had seen her in a few years, and she's a year older than me, so she has already been in college for a year now. Probably around 2 years now, because I did take, like, a year off. And I was at the bus stop on my way there for the first day of college. And as we're sitting there, she kind of just comes over like, oh my gosh, hi, hello, it's been so long. And then we just start talking, we start yapping as we're on, like, the train ride to the bus stop to go to the university. And on the way there, she starts telling me about her English professor and just saying that it's the easiest class ever because they're in a relationship right now. Like, they're doing stuff together. I was like, I just kind of sat there. I was like, I don't know what to do with this information right now. This is a lot to take in. I haven't seen you in years. And now the only thing I know about how your life's been for the past couple of years is that you're with your teacher. I don't like this. And she was saying she's happy in it. And I was just sitting there like, are you sure? Is this like, I don't know. Because I guess if she's like, I don't know. Very weird. What? Yeah, no. What for real? It was one of those moments of like, I don't know why you're telling me this. What do you want my response to any of this information to be? So the entire time I just kind of sat there like nodding my head being like, And then that was the last time I saw her again for another couple of years. So, and so she's a friend that I see once, maybe every 3 years, and never by choice. We just kind of run into each other kind of thing. Well, I guess I say that, but like, the second time I saw her was like, she invited me to her birthday party out of nowhere after like 6 years of like, not seeing each other outside of that one train ride. It's a weird relationship. It's not even a relationship anymore. It's a very weird time. Anyways, that was a long tangent of being like, yeah, I have a story about like the teacher student stuff. But anyways, moving on. She found a bit of comfort in her misfortune. Oh yeah, we read that part. But it was not morally acceptable. After all, he was the man who had conceived her, and the principles she had been taught were quite clear about this. Had he gone crazy? Was he trying to damn her to hell? A rush of disgust violently seized her throat. No, this was not right. Deep in morbid thought, the princess hardly noticed the sound of hurried footsteps coming closer. The grating noise of the door made her jolt. Was he already... Oh, thank you, it's you. Okay, hello, Nahima. Fortunately, it was just Nahima, who seemed as scared as her. Oh, princess, I have just heard the news from the mouth of another servant. I came here as fast as I could. Thank you, Nahima, but your effort was in vain. My father told me I had no... Sorry. Little air bubble. And that I had no choice, and that he would marry me whether I want it or not. The hour for thought I requested is almost over. There's nothing we can do. We can leave. Also, I like that little glint in her eye. Nahima, when she, like, looked over. Do not say that, princess. There's still some hope left. He will be here in a matter of minutes. I will never be able to find a solution in such a short time. Time is what we need. Like my mother always said, it is not good to think in haste. We found a way to buy time to get yourself off the hook. How can I buy time without upsetting him? He seemed as hurried as he is irritated. If I were to ask him for another delay, he would certainly refuse. That is why you have to be sly. Rather than directly asking for more time, pretend you demand a gift from him as a token of goodwill. A gift, that is to say... Ask for something so rare and complex. I love that face that they get, like, whenever they're being, like, mischievous or anything. Ask for something so rare and complex, it will be almost impossible for him to obtain it. Thus, even if he manages to give it to you, you will have bought quite some time nonetheless. And if he does not keep his commitment, then it is even better. That is a good idea. However, I have to find something to ask him without sounding suspicious. If I were to request some Far Eastern China from him, he could argue that this is not necessary or promise to buy some after our wedding. You are right. Nahima rubbed her chin with a pensive look. Time. We need time. All of a sudden, she clapped her hands. I know, princess. The man that he gives you a dress, the color of time. It is common for the future bride to want new clothes to appear a proper lady in the arms of her spouse. He will not be able to refuse. And since he has no color, no tailor, even a fairy one, will ever manage to craft such a dress. Nahima, you are a genius! Let's go, girl! Aww. Under the influence of relief, Kiona flew into her retainer's arms, who consequently went as red as a beetroot. Princess, please! This was nothing! The two girls were so happy that they failed to notice the sound of footsteps in the corridor in time. Someone knocked at the door. This time there was no place for doubt. It was the king. My daughter, are you here? Quick, Nahima, under the bed. We cannot let him know you are here. No sooner said than done. Nahima slipped under the wooden frame. The wide bedsheets easily covered her, and Kiona only had to adjust their length to be sure she could not be seen. I am coming, father. With shaky hands, the princess opened the door and let the king come in. His eyes were as piercing and hard as an hour ago. She could not help but gulp. So, have you considered my proposal? Yes, father. After pondering the issue, I have come to the conclusion that I cannot appear by your side without clothes fit for a queen. I want to honor you, and that is why I would like to slightly renew my wardrobe before the wedding. The druid's advice immediately came to the old king's mind. Oh, perfect! Oh, perfect! Turns out the druid's playing for both sides. Oh my gosh! The young woman was certainly about to express some whims of hers, and he could not pass on such an occasion to earn her trust. Thus, the king carefully listened to her. Please, speak frankly, dear daughter. I am listening, and I will try my best to fulfill whatever wish you have. Father, please bear that I ask of you a dress the color of time. The color of time? What a strange whim of yours, but so be it. I'll stick to my word. You'll have this dress tomorrow evening at the same time. I'd rather him play for no sides. Oh, no, yeah, no, for sure. No, for sure. It's just that the druid, like, the druid in trying to be like, oh, I'm going to get this father and daughter together, accidentally played into exactly what Kiona needed to buy more time for this. So, again, I would also prefer he just not be here, you know? Or just in general. I would rather him just not be in general. But at least his stupid, oh, just buy her a bunch of presents things is like actually like paying off well for Kiona. With a solemn look, he left the room, delighted by the hope the heiress had given him. Ugh. Ugh. You know that feeling of like when you're in love and you're like skipping through the hallways and you have like a new sense of like hope in the world? Ugh, that but for your daughter, so weird. Nahima took advantage of this opportunity to come out of her hiding. You've been wonderful, princess. We have managed to buy enough time to set up a plan. You still have to find one, however. It is better to sleep on it. It has been a long and intense day. You must be exhausted. Get some rest and we'll think about it tomorrow morning. You are probably right, Nahima. With a brooding and hazy mind, the princess quickly went to the bed. There had to be a way to save her. Meanwhile, the king had gathered the most talented crafters of the area, the best tailors there were, and he ordered them to make this dress in a day, otherwise they would be hanged. Of course, of course. Not only is he going after his daughter, but he's now turned into the type of king who's like, if you don't do this task in an unreasonable amount of time, I'll kill you. Terrified for their lives, they started their work straight away, relentlessly working all night while cursing this weird idea. The dress the color of time. What a caprice. I miss caprice. A new file has been added to the archives. Let's go ahead and check that out. Why did I do that? Extras. Archives. Fairer than a fairy. What a great guy, this king. Oh yeah, no, for sure. Remember when I said he was based earlier? I take it back. It was a joke. OMG, Caprice mentioned. Oh my gosh, hi Caprice. There are actually two princesses who bear the name in the eponymous Fairer Than a Fairy, 1698 by Miss de la Force. De la Force? I think, yeah. The one in The Rainbow Prince, 1718 by an anonymous author. Both have in common to have been named that way by their father because of their peerless beauty, which stirs up the fairy's wrath. It is difficult to find a more conceited name than Fairer Than a Fairy. Plus belle que j'ai in French. In French. Why did I say in French? On the dawn of the second day, the princess woke up earlier than usual. Kiona was not in the mood to stay abed. She was pressed for time, and her night had been scattered with nightmares and untimely awakenings. The verbena scent was getting overwhelming, almost sickening. All she wanted was for someone to help her get rid of this unbelievable situation. Still, in her dressing gown, she sat on the edge of the bed and stroked her hair, waiting for the retainer who was in charge of her toilet. After some long minutes, the door eventually opened. I'm not gonna lie. As soon as she was like, I'm still waiting for it, I was like, oh my gosh, please tell me that nothing happened to Nahima. Because, like, the amount of dread that would go through me if the door opened and it was somebody else and they were like, oh, Nahima's indisposed right now, would have been, like, that's instantly what went through my mind. I was like, no, please, 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 no. Good morning, princess. Oh, you are already awake. No. I'm not gonna give... Nahima does not deserve any sass from us right now. We're just gonna be like, I did not sleep very well. She is our only friend here. She is our one and true. What a horrible night, Nahima. I cannot get any rest. What is going to happen to me? I'm sorry to hear that, princess. I understand that you are troubled by your father's proposal. We have to keep calm to find a plan of action. I know that you are not alone. I am with you, and I am not going to let you down. You are probably right, as usual. Thank you, Nahima. I really do not know what I would do without you. The young servant squirmed with an embarrassed look. Aw, she's so in love. Oh, princess, this is no time for flattery. First, I have to take care of your toilet. The lady-in-waiting set to do her work, all the while still talking. I have thought about this myself, Princess, and I believe it would be wiser to tell your private tutor that you are sick. That you are sick. It would grant us more leeway to conduct some research. A very good idea, Nahima. Do you already know what to do? You will probably not believe me, but I saw your mother in a dream last night. I remembered something after your birth. It was said that she had given you the fairy's blessing. The fairy's blessing? It is just a rumor, but there should be some truth in that statement. If your mother did not leave something useful to you, we could use it to save... If your mother did leave something useful to you, we could use it to save you. Fiona skeptically stared at the young Moor. I would love to believe in magic too, but these are old legends, and I am too old to be fooled by this nonsense. Nahima raised her voice while making wild, frantic gestures. Oh, she's so cute. I know it must sound ridiculous, but I believe in those legends. I think your mother had the fairy's blessing and had passed it on to you, and I'm even ready to prove it. And how are you going to do that? I'm going to leave the castle for the day and investigate in the nearby hamlets. I'm sure some old countrywoman will be able to give me information about the true meaning of this rumor. In that case, I'm going to have a look around the great library. Maybe some dusty books will teach me how to get rid of this madness that has taken hold of my father. Let us part ways and meet again tonight in my bedroom to talk about our findings. May the best of us win. It's a deal then. You seem quite confident, Princess, but do not underestimate the power of old legends. Magic does exist, and I will prove it. You know, I was going to say, neither of these are very good plans, but I also genuinely don't know what else I would do in this situation. Like, this is like, one of the, like, in a lot of stories, you can be like, oh, well, in this situation, I would have done this thing instead. And I was about to try and do that with this. Well, I wasn't going to try and do it with this, but that's something I still think about while I'm watching stuff, even if I don't like using it as, like, criticisms of things. But in this situation, I was like, what the freak else would I do here? What the freak else would I do than try to find a way to, like, make him not be crazy anymore? Once done with the toilet, Nahima parted from the princess and quickly set off, convinced she had found the best lead. Left to her own devices, the heiress sighed and went towards the library, dawdling on the way. Laziness was taking hold of her with each step, and everything seemed pointless. Her heart was looking for an escape, but her brain was telling her again and again there was no miracle she could hope for. The only thing that she could do in the meantime was to pray. The dust that welcomed her as she entered the dark room was only increased her distress. Carrying a candle, she inspected the shelves, looking for a ray of hope. Most of the books the king owned were written transpositions of epic poems, lyric lays, or chivalric romances. The few treatises on science were all gathered in a small corner. Libraire Simplicis Medicine, by the abbesses. I'm so good at reading. Hildegard of Bingen, translated from German. This may be what I need. A lot of people immediately go, she should just kill the king, but I find that rather unrealistic, but that's not really her personality. That's why, like, when people go, oh, insert character should just do this thing and solve the situation, like, but that's not their personality, and it also isn't, like, realistic, and killing someone really isn't as easy as people think it is, even if you think they deserve it. Like, once you're the actual person who's, like, in the position to do, like, the bad deed, suddenly it's a lot harder to do these things. That's why, like, when people go, oh, well, if I was this character in this situation, so I would have done this thing instead, and the fact that I thought of a solution that's better means that this thing that I'm watching or reading sucks. And it's like, no, especially since, like, killing the king, sure, that solves the issue of, like, the whole marriage thing, but, like, oh no, now you're going to be arrested and maybe hung for treason because you just killed the king, so good job, you got yourself killed. So it's like, sure, it solves one issue by replacing it with another very permanent issue, essentially. So it's like, doesn't really make sense. And again, like you said, it doesn't seem like it's her personality. Like, she does not seem like the type of person at all who would so quickly resort to violence. You know what I mean? Not saying, like, if someone was, like, attacking or anything, she wouldn't, like, hit back or anything, but she just doesn't seem like the type of person at all to be like, yeah, violence, the first answer to all problems. It's like, yeah, no, like her trying like something like this, especially since she like does think, like, again, like this very like religious time. It's like, she's thinking about like, oh, Dad's like trying to drag me to hell. Like, I would not be surprised at all if she's like, oh no, like maybe like the devil's like whispering things in his ear, like this kind of thing. Like maybe there's something wrong with him. Like she's literally looking for a way. Her mindset right now is there's something wrong with Dad, and I need to fix it. You know what I mean? Like she's doing that. Or she's just going to be traumatized because she killed her own dad, even if he wasn't yeah, exactly. Even if like there isn't like the whole treason thing or like hung or in prison for that. Now she has to live the rest of her life with the trauma of like personally killing her own dad. You know what I mean? Or like even if she like tried to set someone else up to do it, she still has to live with the trauma of that choice. Like, again, killing him does solve an issue while creating a lot of other issues for her, so it's not really the best call to make anyways. She sat down at a table and glanced over the book. Descriptions of plants and medicinal value value were passing under her eyes, but nothing of value to her. What was I thinking? No book can get me out of this mess other than black magic or alchemy books. Am I really this desperate? Kiona closed the Treaty of Medicine with a bitter pout. If truth be told, she had suspected her approach would be unsuccessful, but she had hoped this false sense of action would be enough to regain her courage. What I need would be to bring my father to his senses. There is no other plant that could help me change his mind. Disheartened, the princess put the imposing tome back and decided to spend the rest of the day alone in this dark yet soothing room. To pass time and forget her sorrow, she grabbed Clegus, some courtly literature she knew rather well. Was there anything better to forget the passing of time? Clegus, grandson of the Emperor Alexander of Constantinople and nephew of Gawain from the Arthurian legend, was a brave knight who achieved many feats. Wronged by his uncle Aelus, he falls deeply in love with Fenice, who is destined to be the bride of the former. He finds his love reciprocated, since Fenice is impressed by his achievements. The lovers quietly suffer, but decide not to hide and live openly with their feelings. They hatch an escape plan so they can live freely. However, the uncle eventually dies from sorrow, which lets them seize the throne and celebrate their wedding with great fanfare. Kiona closed the book. Since her childhood, she had been told she was born to become a queen, and she always aspired to become one. She had secretly hoped to be married to a king who would be powerful but young enough. She had hoped to be bound to someone who could have feelings for her. Her I love the expressions of this game. The expressions are so good. Her chances were infinitesimal. Real weddings were political above all else. There was no way to follow the wishes of the heart, yet that possibility still existed somewhere. There would be a Clegus waiting for her to be his Fenice somewhere on this earth. Putting the tome back on the shelf, the heiress felt even more aggrieved than when she had entered the library. Fleeing is never a good option. As Nahima rightly said, you forget everything for a while, but reality just hits you more harshly thereafter. As she was returning to her bedroom, Kiona looked at the amber sky. It would be wiser not to let my father wait indefinitely. If I do not find any solution, postponing my fate would just anger him even further. While walking in the castle's corridor, the princess could not help but feel curious about the results of Nahima's investigation. It was their only lead, however, implausible it could be. Oh, look at her all cloaked up and ready to explore. What the freak? She looks so freaking cool right now. Once in her room, Kiona was welcomed by a great smile on her servant's face. A bit out of breath, her cheeks pink for having walked for a while, the young woman gave a triumphal look. How did your investigation go, princess? Poorly, unfortunately. What about you? Would you believe it? I managed to find the information I wanted. Witnesses of your baptism recalled seeing a fairy during the ceremony, and they confirmed that she gave you her blessing. Let's go ahead and do bloop. Really? Kiona was startled. She had never been very superstitious, but, like all good believers, she knew higher beings could sometimes play with humans' fates. Could it be that fairies were real after all? I swear on my life. I swear on my life, during the great celebration that was given in your honor, all the farmers and crafters and merchants nearby were invited. Some were given the right to get significantly close so they could see the fairy for themselves. I asked several people, so there's no doubt about it. And what do you know about this blessing? How can I use it? If I get what the grandmother told me right, the blessing allows you to invoke the fairy to your aid. This is exactly what I need. Nehima, it is wonderful. You did it. Not quite, princess. I do not know how you can call your fairy godmother. I do not even know her name. That is unfortunate. If I have no way to contact her, we are back at our starting point. Not quite. Now that we know, we just have to investigate a bit further. The old retainers in the castle, those who knew your mother fairly well, might know how she managed to talk to that fairy. We just need a bit more time. More time. The sound of someone pounding on the door cut them short and made them jolt. When she opened the door, Kiona discovered a handful of crafters who had come to bring the dress of color of time the king had requested. She was told to wear it and go to the royal cabinet where she was expected. With an aching heart, the young woman complied. You know what? I get that. That looks pretty timely. That checks out. That checks out. When she entered the room wearing the dress, the color of time, King Thybid, I forgot how I was pronouncing his name, was enthralled with her charm. The workers had done an excellent job, especially on such short notice, and the result fitted her like a glove. Shyly, she then requested a new one, frantically looking for an idea in her racing mind. She ordered that it would be the color of the moon. That one's a lot easier to do. The king, who could not refuse her demands, immediately urged the same tailors and embroiderers that had created the previous work to come, and he gave them the same instructions. Once again fearing for their lives, they complied as quickly as possible. Thus began the same little game. The next day, Kiona and Nehima hurried towards the kitchen, where most of the castle retainers met. Looking for clues, the two young women were determined to make the most of the time they were given. It had been so long since the last time I came here. This place is as restless as my memories. It was hard not to agree with the heiress. The kitchens were always thronged with people, no matter the time of day. Servants were hurriedly going in and out in a great ball of plates and utensils, while a sweet scent was in the air. The cooks gathered around the great table and chatted in a general cacophony while making the kingly meal. The kitchens are incommodious to you, princess. You can go back to your quarters to rest. They should be alright, Nehima. We are here to investigate. I do not intend to fall at the first hurdle. Very well. Let us question the group I see over there. They seem to have the gift of the gab. No sooner had she spoken than the lady-in-waiting led Kiona to a quieter corner of the room with a firm push of the hand. The two cooks and assistant seemed more busy talking than peeling vegetables. Excuse me. They instinctively looked up at their interlocutor. Their expressions completely changed upon noticing the princess. They all jumped in unison, and one of the cooks, bolder than her colleagues, moved forward to greet her. Your Majesty, it is an honor to see you amongst us today. May I help you with anything? Would you like to know what you are cooking for tonight's meal? Unless you are here to learn details about the preparations for your wedding ceremony. Well, actually, The other cook cleared her throat and elbowed her neighbor. Definitely, a wondrous event tonight. Event, right? Eldelphi? He answered with the same awkward tone. Absolutely, Melisande. We are all so proud of you, our princess. The retainers were so profusely complimenting her out of courtesy that the princess could not speak as she wanted. Still, she still made a second attempt. To return to the reason of my presence, I would like to... Would you like me to... Guys, let her talk. Relax. Would you like me to guide you through the kitchen so that you can admire our work? Nehima came closer to Kiona and discreetly whispered to her, Princess, I'm afraid that the retainers will refuse to speak in your presence. They are too scared of displeasing you. I suggest that you play along and follow Elenior while pretending to inspect the kitchens. Meanwhile, I will question Adelphi and Melisande, who seem more flippant. Oh, yeah, I mean, I trust her to do that, yeah. Oh my gosh, that would be, like, the biggest twist, is if, like, Nahima wasn't on our side right now. Like, that'd be crazy. I mean, everything about the story is implying that she is, alright? It would just be, like, a crazy twist. I would not be emotionally okay with that. I suppose we cannot help it. I will content myself with being the diversion. Be my eyes and ears, Nahima. I am counting on you. Thank you, princess. I will be worthy of your trust. Have no fear. Whose side would she be on? Listen! People can be bought. That's all I'm saying. People could be bought, so, like, it's possible that she could be, like, I don't know. Granted, the king isn't, like, any, like, kind of, like, scrupulous or anything like that. I don't know. I just feel... This just goes back to how untrusting I am, especially in, like, dark stories. As soon as a story is, like, dark and is handling things like this, I become, like, the most untrusting person ever. Like, if you watch when I played A Tithe in Blood, I spent an entire session being like, ah, no, this character's going to betray us. For no reason. Simply zero reason at all had been given. I'm just a simply an untrusting person is all. You know what I mean? It's just how I am. It's how I am with fictional characters. If you're my friend in real life, I trust you so hard, implicitly. Like, the amount of times a friend will tell me something and I'll just believe them and I'll be like, no, that was a joke. And I'll be like, oh, I just trusted you on that one. But as soon as you're my friend in a fictional story that's dark and heavy, I'm like, when are you going to betray me? When's the shoe going to drop? You're plotting against me for something. So you know what? I didn't even think about whose side she would be on. Because my first thought went to the king, but I was like, the king's not really plotting anything. You know what I mean? Why would he need a spy? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So you're so right. Oh. The heiress used... Wait. The heiress used a slightly more commanding tone. Very well, let us go, Eleanor. Eleanor, show me what you are doing. What if it's not a person who betrays you? The plot could betray you instead. You know what? That's so true. The story could just be like, hey, actually, we're outing you right now. The story itself is telling the king about everything that's going on, about your investigations. That would be crazy. Again, there is a slight amount of, like, meta stuff going on. That would not be surprising. Unironically, if that was a thing that happened somehow in Undertale, would not be shocked. Would not be shocked in the slightest. Right away, Your Majesty. The serious servant took her role to heart and dragged Kiona a bit further away to the other two retainers' relief. I thought my heart was going to burst. Tell me about it. Coming here unannounced should not be allowed. They turned to Nahima with a derisive look. So, what about following Her Majesty all the time? Not too hard. One wrong word and it's the dungeons for you. I would not feel at ease if I were you. You get used to it. Tell me. You seem to know quite a lot as it happens. I need some information. A jeering rictus crossed Adelphi's face. Tell us. Tell us, we will see what we can. Tell us, and we will see what we can do for you. Have you heard this rumor saying that a fairy had been invited to the princess's baptism? The two servants threw knowing looks at each other while giggling. For sure, for sure. Melisande added very seriously. We even saw the fairy. Is it true? Could you tell me how to make her appear? I too would like to meet her. We cannot tell you. Why? Information such as this needs to be handled very carefully. We have to be sure you are sincere. By doing us a favor first. For instance, I have lost my purse. If you could bring it back to me, I will tell you what I know. And how am I supposed to find it? I have left it in the library on one of the desks. May I know what its contents are so I can be sure it is yours? No way, that is private. That is a private matter. Retrieve it or I will not tell you anything. I did not expect a side quest right now. I did not expect that in the slightest. Ooh, wait, hang on. Inspect this. Ah, the fire. It tells many great things. It speaks to me. Even if it is arduous to guess what is being stewed over the fire, the delicious odor that is coming from the pans put a stop to any thought. The retainers were working on a wooden table covered with victuals, each one more mouth-watering than the last. Okay, and I'm also just doing a... I guess since you're here, you can answer a quick question. Does this just, like, take us to, like, another part of, like, the scenery, or does this kind of, like, move the scene forward? Because I thought, like, maybe this is, like, the button, like, helps you, like, move on after you're done exploring things, but I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure before I click it. Because I want to make sure I get to, like, see everything that there is to do, essentially. Oh, I just had the biggest stretch ever. That worked so well. My shoulders have been killing me recently. I think it's just because, like, how much I've been working and, like, screaming. It's, like, just been a lot on the shoulders and not taking care enough to, like, do all the stretches and, everything like that. Also, I think I'm going to just do, like, a main save over here anyways. That's overthinking. You click on the arrow, you'll see. Okay, thank you, thank you. Oh, it's a... Oh, wait, this map is... Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait, we actually have so many places we can explore. What the freak? That's so cool. Oh, that's awesome. Also, it's so cutely drawn. Okay, awesome. Thank you, thank you. Listen, I have a tendency to overthink these kinds of things. Or just in general. I have a bad tendency to overthink. The map will betray you, I swear. Listen, I'm just learning a lot about... But how do you close the map? Hallway, kitchen. I'll just click back on the kitchen. There we go. I just don't trust anything. I'm always so scared that I'm going to miss things. Oh, because you never know. The game could just be a dick to me out of nowhere. Delphi and Millicent refuse to say more, leaving Nahima with only one possibility, bringing the precious item back. Well, if that is so... Okay, I'll go get it. Can we go, like, everywhere, though? So, wait, hallway, hallway. Kitchen. Wait, hallway. Garden. Oh, wait, how do we go to the library? I guess I'll go out to the hallway. Some retainers were making haste through the castle's corridors. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Boop, boop. We have... Ooh, wait, is there something new at, like, every hallway? Some retainers... Hang on, hang on, hang on. Oh, wait, no! Oh, well, hang on. It's just lighting up the entire hallway. Never me mind. Oh, it's these... Yeah, I looked at these. I even noticed these, and yet I forgot about them. I kind of want to go everywhere. A meeting between all the counselors seemed to be taking place in the king's cabinet. Whatever the important matter at the center of concerns was, the retainers did not dare approach until the assembly was over. Okay. I'm not that sadistic that I would hurt my reader with no reason. Okay. So you're a little sadistic then. Good to know. That's important information to have for later. I know I can trust you a little bit now, but that you will also hurt me in the future. Nahima could not help but cast a glance at the dressing table to check her appearance. Almost without thinking, she passed a hand through her hair while whispering, "Will you ever notice me?" Oh, she's so in love. Get out of here. Kiona's bedroom. Since she spent most of her time here, Nahima obviously knew every nook and cranny of it. Still, there was something almost magical about sitting quietly on this great bed in the absence of the princess. That was unfortunately not enough to justify staying here when there were more urgent matters elsewhere. She gets sent off to the library, and she's taking the most scenic of routes to get there. I want to go spend a little bit of time in the garden now. Luxurious plants were growing in the shade of the leaves. This was the place Nahima went to every morning to pick the fresh flowers that would decorate the princess's room for the day. Even if she was well acquainted with the place, venturing into the garden still represented a breath of fresh air in this world made of stones. This was especially true on a beautiful day like this one. But Nahima had a mission. It was in no way the time to dawdle. The castle's fountains were where the retainers came to draw water, which was necessary for a great number of tasks. When the weather is fair, it is tempting to come here and soak your feet in a way to cool off. Boop, boop. Wait, no. Oh, we're here, we're here. Oh, thank you, mysterious gloved hand, for telling me what I was looking for. Just a little bit, but my weapon is writing, not randomly removing the UI. Though maybe I should. That could be fun. You could even, like, I don't know. There's probably ways you could even implement that into the writing a bit of, like maybe you could, like, I don't know, have options in the UI that are, like, tied to, like, characteristics or, like, the character's ability to do things, and then over time you start, like, having, like, the character get, like, worn down and, like, losing parts of themselves, so they start losing, like, those little bits of the UI. Like, you actively, like, see them, like, disappearing from the screen at times, you know what I mean? That could be really cool. So yes, if you want to be a little bit more sadistic to us, I implore you, please do. As she was glancing at the well-stocked bookcases, the retainer could not help wondering if any of those books was useful to someone. Nehema had always been surprised by how flippantly the books were put in order. It exemplified all too well how neglected the library was. Boop. Nehema caught sight of a big, leathery purse on one of the desks. Just like Adelphi had told her, she took it with hesitation. I feel like... I was about to say, is this like a trap or something? Like, this be a little suspicious. Still, it is weird that he refuses to tell me what is inside. And what would he do in a library, since he does not know how to read? Only lettered people come here. Lawson thought she did not hear the silhouette creeping behind her back. May I know what you are doing with my purse? Surprised, Nehema jolted and turned back to her interlocutor. It was a young cleric that she had never seen before. Whenever they put on that face. You really cannot take it. I need its contents. How can I know it is yours? Open it. I have nothing to hide. There's a reed pen and a clay tablet inside. That is the latest register about the distribution of the King's Salt. I was looking for my equipment so that I could transcribe it on the general register in paper format. Glancing inside the purse, Nehema had to admit the young copyist was right. I am sorry. 2 kitchen servants told me that they lost their purse here and that they told me to retrieve it for them. Ah, Adelphi and Melisande, I bet. It is nothing, eh? He sat in front of the desk, shrugging with an apathetic look. My name is Constantine. Oh, hello, Constantine. Some of the servants have taken a dislike to me since I came here. They keep playing pranks and making fun of me. I am used to it now. The lady-in-waiting could not help but give a faint, sad smile. I shall let them know what I think of such behavior. That is nice of you. Well then, I have to work on my register. Have an excellent day. What happens if I just click on this again? Constantine seems to be focused on his work. Seems to be so focused on his work that he forgot Nehema's presence, and she deduced it would be better to leave him alone. Bloop. Alright, time to go beat up some kitchen workers. She came back to Adelphi and Melisande livid. You got me there, you rascals! Are you not ashamed of disturbing Constantine's work? The poor soul has never asked for this. The 2 retainers giggled even more. Oh, it's just a prank. Oh, it's just a prank. Nothing to get angry over. That's true. Besides, he deserves it with a face like his. Anyways. Being so serious all the time. Stop this mockery at once. Are you going to tell me what you know, yes or no? Oh, we don't know anything. Their looks become irritated. We know nothing of the princess's baptism. We hadn't even been born at the time. If you really wish to meet your fairy that much, go see Barthélemy, one of the king's advisors. He should know something. I much prefer that. After making eye contact with Kiona, she was ending her tour with Eleanor. The young servant called the princess over to follow her. She complied at once, too glad to escape. The 2 of them rushed towards the royal cabinet, where the counselors would regularly gather. What happens if I click on them now? Go see Barthélemy, as we told you. He is right, we do not know more. Okay, bye. So, to the cabinet then. This is cool. I really like actually having like the side quests, like the systems like going on and you can actually explore around. That's very cool. Barthélemy? In the flesh? I am surprised to see you here, princess. It has been quite some time since I last saw you. Well, my presence seemed to upset my father. I know. Nevertheless, you have grown up so fast. It is a pity not to see you assume the throne in a more conventional manner. At least, like, 99% of people are on her side. At least everyone's, like, agreed that this is, like, the worst case scenario. A hint of sadness appeared on the old man's face. You know so many things. Were you present during my baptism? It was said a fairy was there. Well, I am astounded that you have heard of the story. To be honest, as your mother's right hand at the time, I was invited as a guest of honor. Unfortunately, I fell sick after getting back, drenched from an important journey a few days prior, to the extent that I was far too ill to attend the festivities. The princess looked so disappointed she could not hide it. However, if you really want to know more, I would advise you find Jeanne, one of the laundry women. She is a discreet young woman. And why did I say young? She is a discreet woman whom nobody notices, but she knows when and where to listen. She is aware of almost everything that is happening in the castle. She must have an acquaintance who could inform you. I'll ask her. Thank you, Bartholomew. It is always a pleasure, Princess. Take care of yourself. The two young women left the council room unsatisfied. You told me you were directed to this man by the servants, but he knew nothing. Unfortunately, those are hazards of an investigation, Princess. Finding the right person can take some time. Admittedly, but time is going by and I cannot afford to wander through the castle in this pivotal moment. I know. I hope we will have better luck with Jeanne. I'll just click on you again, see what you have to say. Take care of yourself, Princess. Okay. So we have cabinet, library. Wait, oh my gosh, I completely blanked. Where did it say that they were? Ah, found them. I was like, they're hanging laundry, or like the laundry people, but like we don't have a laundry mat in here. Around a corner, Nahima caught a glimpse of why do I keep trying to say young? I think it's just because like all these people are like actually young, like all the servants and everything, like they're younger than Kiona, so I think that's why I keep trying to say it. Nahima caught a glimpse of a woman lifting a huge basket of laundry by herself. She stopped walking right away. Princess, I believe this is her. Stay here for a couple of minutes. I'm going to talk to her. Are you asking me to wait again? We cannot take the risk of her bowing down to you like the others. We are already running out of time. Very well. I am not moving an inch from here. The lady in waiting rushed forward to chase the retainer. Excuse me, are you Jeanne? Aye, that's me. I have heard a rumor according to which a fairy was present during the princess's baptism, and I was told that you could tell me more about it. Damn, I did hear talk of a fairy story. The woman suddenly seemed to change her mind. I'm not being tricked or something like that, yes? What are you afraid of? Oh my gosh, she's just like me, for real, for real. She pranced about with an awkward look. The thing is, my colleague, Clotilde, isn't around today, and I don't know why at all. She must have met a boy and ran away with him, but she could come back too. Damn, I hope she'll come back. I'm damn worried about her. Get straight to the point. Since I don't know if Clotilde's gonna come back or not, I'm replacing her so that no one finds out she vanished. But that's way too much work for me alone. If you could help me, we're getting another side quest. I love this. If you could help big old me to light the candles tonight, it'd go faster. It'd be bad to mess the job up. I promise to help you. That's brave of you. Thanks, gal. I do what I say. I'm gonna bring you to old Victory. After making a reassuring gesture aimed at Kiona, Nahima followed the laundry woman to the castle's inner garden. In a remote nook, an old woman was spinning a thread with the distaff of her wheel, while humming to herself. Jeanne briefly introduced Nahima to her friend. So, you want to learn more about the fairy? Exactly. You were here during the baptism, or so I heard. Did you see her? For sure. One cannot forget the face of such a creature. A preternatural presence emanates from fairies. Do you know how the queen managed to summon her, or how to contact her? I would like to meet her. The old woman chuckled. That is a rather presumptuous wish, but so be it. I remember it perfectly since I was in the front seats. The queen had let me sit there as a reward for years of good and faithful service. I saw the fairy hand over a silver whistle to her. She was close enough for me to hear her words. Use this to summon me, she said. Really? Nahima was taken aback. So there was a way to call the fairy. Impatient, she pressed victory for... Is that how you pronounce that name? I think that feels right. For more information. Do you know what happened to the whistle? I do not know for sure, but I think it was put away with the queen's belongings. Nobody must have touched it since her death. So it should still be in the disused wing of the castle, in one of the cabinets. Alright, so the plan is going to be, next when we get presented with a dress, we also go, hey Dad, how about a whistle? One that specifically summons fairies. Can I get one of those? I gather you cannot be more precise than that. Unfortunately, no, young lady. You should already be glad that I was able to help you. Nobody here remembers that fairy anymore. Incidentally, tell me if you see her. I would be curious to know what she was doing nowadays. I will. Is she just gonna say the same thing again? Thank you for helping me, Victory. You're welcome, my lady. Why did I say my lady? Young lady. This is really not much. Besides, it made me happy to dive back into those old memories. It is one more thing I have accomplished. One more thing I can be proud of. You will come see me again, won't you? Of course. Sweet. Go back to the hallway. Bloop. Why would you ask the dad? Doesn't seem like a very trustworthy guy to me. Well, no, for sure. But he's also like in this weird like gift-giving phase that's going on where he's just gonna like do all of our wishes, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, if worse comes to worse, it's not exactly a bad way to find it. You know, just used as a weird, erratic, obsessive behavior against him, like a weapon. That's not mean, right? The servant came back to the heiress to tell her about her discoveries. Kiona was immediately relieved to learn where the whistle was located. This is wonderful, Nahima. Who could have thought we would trace back to the fairy's lead? All we have to do is search the abandoned wing. Not so fast, princess. The sun has already started to set. It is far too late to do so today. We will go there tomorrow. No, we're on a time crunch. Can we just go now? You're right, and we would not see a thing without light anyway. I guess that's fair. That's valid. My only hope is that my toilette is not ready yet. There's only one way to find out. Go back to your quarters, princess. As for me, I have promised John to help her out. The two young women parted ways for the evening. Sadly, the workers were even quicker than the day before, and the dress, the color of the moon, was brought to her without delay, along with the same order as before. Oh, that one's pretty. I really like that one. Get away from though. Get away. Again, just what new dress can we think of? Wearing that new toilette, she went to the royal cabinet, as distraught as in previous times. The rich dress was as splendid as the knightly celestial body, making the young princess look even more sublime. In her confusion, she then asked for a dress as bright as the sun. The king accepted if she swore she would have enough dresses until the wedding. And so the little game continued. Okay, and I think that is actually where we're going to end it for today. I do want to play more. I just, you know, had things that I need to take care of, like, right away, because people are going to be coming over very, very shortly to help me take care of some things, so I do not want to keep them waiting. So yeah, that is going to be where we're going to end playing for today. Just to really quickly go over it, I do think... I don't know. I'm so excited to play more. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, we're probably not going to play more for a couple of weeks. It's probably going to be more of like early to mid-November-esque game is where we're going to be getting back on into it. But I'm so excited to be playing more. Redeemed Guide the raid, Leary. Oh yeah, we could definitely raid into Leary for sure, Absolutely. We're just going to talk about the game for just a quick little second. Hang on, I'm just going to get that. I'm going to get that ready to go though, really quick. Hang on, just give me one moment. And thank you again, Helia, for reaching out and like letting me again play this game and for like letting me get into it early and all that kind of stuff. Again, if you were interested in anything you saw here again, the link to Chronotopia is pinned in both of the chats, both on the YouTube and on the Twitch side, and is currently on sale. So it is like genuinely the perfect time to play more, like to get it and to play it. No problem. Don't hesitate to tag me if you're playing again so I can watch, even if it's just a little bit. Oh, absolutely. I absolutely will. And thank you for being here for this today and for any other future times that you may be here. Let me go ahead and pull this on over. But no, I'm extremely, like, I'm so ready to see how this is going to end. Again, this is such a good plot to, like, get me invested, because I'm like, I'm so, like, scared of, like, not accomplishing our goals. I'm like, I need to see Kiona get out of this right now. It is, like, it is such an absolute need right now for me to see her get away safely. And to not have to do this. So again, it's such a good plot for it. I'm so excited to just, like, see, like, the way, like, kind of, like, the rest of, like, the stories pan out and to, like, learn more about all those, because this is such an interesting idea for a visual novel, is just to be, like, retelling, like, old fairy tales, but, like, in a new way. Like, that is so, like they're not like twisted fairy tales, because twisted fairy tales are like when you take a fairy tale and you're like, here's it, but, like, more evil, essentially, kind of thing. I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be that, but this doesn't really feel like that exactly. But it does feel, I don't know, it feels, like, fresh in a way. And again, like, the art for it is just so beautiful. Like, just the painted look to everything going on is, like, so nice and pleasant to look at. All the characters look amazing. And again, I don't know what it is. It's just the detail of, like, the clothes and, like, the style of everything, and, like, the hair is so nice. And everyone's noses, there's something about the noses that's like, aw, everyone's got such cute little noses. So yeah, no, I really, really like it. And again, the characters are just, like you were saying, like, already, like, the fact, like, I already know, like, Kiona isn't the type to, like, do any, like, of these, like, drastic measures of, like, violence and that kind of stuff, like, shows, like, how strong she and Nahima specifically are, like, written. And even the king, I think the king is, like, a very well written villain, and I think adding in the druid helps a lot to make him a more interesting character, of him, like, even starting off, like, this whole thing being as disgusted by the premise as, like, the audience is, and then having him, like, slowly change and be convinced. Like, I was making jokes like, oh no, I was convinced to marry my daughter, oh, poor me, but it makes it a way more interesting take than if the druid had just been like, marry your daughter, and he had been like, you know, I never thought about it that way. Let me do that really quick. But the fact that, again, he was disgusted and appalled at it, calling it a sin, saying it's illegal, like, all the things that the audience and the other characters are saying, and then the druid just kept planting those seeds in his mind, and even using the like, the words of the dead queen kind of against him, of, like, you need to find someone as beautiful as me, you need to find someone like all the, like, the traits, like, you love, like, all these kinds of things. And then the druid uses the wishes of his dying wife against him in that way to, like, further convince him of this. Like, I feel like that helps make him, like, a more compelling villain. Like, obviously, like, all the actions he's doing, especially right now, irrehensibly bad, awful, terrible, the worst. But again, it helps them, like, make him feel more human and, like, more of, like, a well-rounded character. So really, really good on that front. But yeah, I think with that being said, I'm gonna send y'all over to Leary. Leary is a fellow Bellflower who plays a variety of games, especially a lot of puzzle games. And so make sure everyone to treat them with the utmost respect and be kind. I will see all you beautiful people in the next one. Bye-bye!